Dumelang. Bathong akere ha re mo funeraleng. Just because we're wearing black, we're not at a funeral akere. Ha re amoheleng. Dumelang. Le kae? Re teng. Lebitso la ka ke Mapaseka Kwetle and ke thabile haholo to be here. I must say all of you look amazing. Ke kopa le ikopele matsoho. La tseba kere ha re le ko kerekeng tla bo gothi o shebe neighbor o re neighbor you look beautiful. Ke kopa o shebe neighbor ya hao o re neighbor o motle. That's it. Thank you so much for the beautiful day. And I think for me personally, I am truly excited and humbled to be here because number one, ke ngwanyana wa ko Rocklandse, ngwanyana wa mo gae, ngwanyana wa ga o mama. So for me, it's such a beautiful blessing to be here on stage and just to share this amazing event with you guys. I think also as women, we know that we go through a lot every day. I'm a mother, I'm a woman, and I know how sometimes events like this help us to remind us that we can. Jwalo ka re le basadi, we can. And the stories that we're gonna hear on stage will also remind us that we are able as women. So I hope you for that. Please also allow me to observe protocol by acknowledging the presence of our MEC for Sports, Arts, Culture, and Recreation. Ke kopa re amohele Mme Ntombizanele Sifuba and MEC for DESTEA, Ntate Toto Magume. Ntate ke a tseba hore mohlomong mara se wena fela ntate, bo ntate ba teng ka mo roomong, so ke lebohile haholo hore o fihlile. Every house has its own rules, so ke tla qala ka di house rules tsa rona. Ha o tswa ka monyako there, on the foyer on the right, ke di toilet tsa bo mme, and on the left ke tsa bo ntate. And also, I love makeup, and sometimes makeup melts. Go foyering outside, but then we also buy makeup to help us do touch-ups. So if you feel like your lash is falling off, my sister, don't worry, it's Louis corner there by the foyer for a lash. How. And then also, we have a raffle today. I guess we like winning things, you know. There's a raffle today, and a raffle is worth 100,000. Batla bua later, 100,000 eo kia eng. But also, you can increase your chances by buying the ticket. Ticket 100 rand if you want to increase your chances of winning. Then on top of that, even though because next but anyway, I do love food. There is a QR code motafuling, so you can scan it and check the menu. You can also scan it to check the program. There's a lot of surprises later on that I can't share right now, but at least eating. So please do buy the ticket if you want to increase your chances. The way in Chevilling got and Gary Macallet, Leraitimer. Lishapake. Hansaki Walling root waiting Lismay, like your Hobona Haloki Buacho, Newabon. Okay, let me not waste time. I would like to welcome on stage our MEC of Sports, Arts, Culture, and Recreation, Ntombizanele Sifuba. Ato Uamo stage. You go pare emeka mautere monse hlompo.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you, Program Director. Let me first start by acknowledging our MEC for Treasury, Economic Development, and Tourism, MEC Toto Magume. Let me also acknowledge the speakers of the day in this prestigious occasion, Ms. Connie Ferguson. Let me acknowledge Advocate Sinako Lindazwe, Let me acknowledge Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng. Let me acknowledge Ms. Tumili Baka. Let me also acknowledge Ms. Praisy Dlamini. Ladies and gentlemen, in this very beautiful occasion, indeed, women hold up half the sky. I also take the opportunity to say thank you to the organizers, Nkokeli Creatives, for putting together such a prestigious event. I acknowledge as well all the guests that are here today from across South Africa. Program Director, it is a great honor and privilege to be part of this beautiful occasion here today. This event coincidentally takes place at the time that the province, particularly Mangaung, had just welcomed our neighbors yesterday, Lesotho, who were the hosts of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, which took place here yesterday. They opted to come and play their game against our national soccer team, Bafana Bafana, here in the Free State, which game we won by 3-0. The significance of that for us, to them, they wanted facilities to play. But for us, it was an addition to bringing the people of the Free State and from other provinces here at home together. We are also delighted to announce that on the 9th of September, we'll be hosting Bafana Bafana versus Nigeria in the same stadium, playing another World Cup qualifier. This weekend, we are also staging our government flagship program, Mangaung African Cultural Festival, Makufe, commonly known, with the theme going back to our African heart and soul. In this is the program, that has been there for over decades. A program which brings together patrons from all over the country to come and enjoy together. These programs I've just mentioned speak to our mandate as the Department of Sports, as Culture and Recreation, that of social cohesion and nation building. In this department, we entertain, we develop talent, we contribute to the economy, and I dare say that we contribute immensely to tourism. And I know that my MEC, my colleague, will speak to that as well. Many people say all we do in these departments is events. But we believe that our significance as the department is that of a salt. Salt is every household ingredient, a mineral compound, the one that gives flavor to the food that feeds and nourishes the body. That is what we serve as the department. We feed and nourish the body, mind, and spirit through the events that we hold. We hold a very strong view that sustainability of our social existence as the society or nation will not be feasible if we don't place at the core cohesion and unity. Where there is no unity, there is no cohesion. There will be the opposite, and consequently conflicts. Stiglitz, in his famous book, Globalization and its Discontents, make a profound point that sustainable development is impossible in a society which is characterized by disunity, civil strife, oppression, discrimination, and all other forms of social ills and political deformities. Economic inequalities, dilapidating joblessness, gender oppression, masculinity, women and child abuse, femicides, alcohol and drug abuse, and all these other ills continue to ravage our communities and the broader society. Ladies and gentlemen, we therefore must ensure that social cohesion is at the center in our developmental agenda for us to be able to be sustainable and mitigate these ills. To that end, mainstreaming of sports as well as arts and culture programs should be pinnacle of our aspirations. These might not be a panacea to our social and political troubles, but can ensure to be a conduit to the shores to which we must all sail. The event of today, Breaking the Bread, speaks to the core mandate and the values that we have to inculcate. Breaking the bread means to share so that you can nourish and nurture the body, mind, and soul. If we deprive ourselves of nourishment, we will be susceptible to illnesses and diseases because they will find us in a state of vulnerability. And the theme of the event, thriving longevity, leadership, and purpose. For the society to thrive, it needs leadership with purpose. Everybody can occupy a leadership position, but it takes a particular caliber to be a leader. May I add that many leaders in our society are those that are not occupying any leadership position, but are leaders in their own right. And they have a very huge impact in the society we are trying to build. A leader should be the one with purpose, whose interaction with others leave an indelible impact. Leaders need to be empowered, nourished, and not once, but through continuous engagements and exchanging of ideas with one another, as would know we exist in an evolving society. So as government, it is our responsibility to ensure such progress, that such programs that drive social cohesion and nation building are supported. It is for this reason that as the department we have committed to work with civil society organizations and private sector to drive our objectives. These partnerships and collaborations can assist us to calibrate, engender, and inculcate the cultural values that underpin our traditional societies and infuse them into the modernity. Let me conclude, Program Director, by saying we'll continue working with and supporting initiatives such as these that assist us to advance our mandate. May I also take the opportunity to wish this dialogue the best in its endeavor to entrench the spirit of dialogical discourse as a method of achieving meaningful outcomes and a learning platform as you interact. We trust that we will interface beyond this platform and collaboratively towards the transformation objectives in our country. With those few words, I welcome you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mme. Oh, metsikeo, ampale. Kopa re mo pele matsoho hape. And I think what I took from what Mme said is that some of us, to be honest, we got to do what we do because of we fell in love with acting kamakufi. I remember when I was young, when I was still at Tsoseletso High School, they used to have a program which allowed us to perform Kopekov's Kanako Tsena tsa Makufe, which really helped us to realize, hore, this is what we want to do. So I'm so glad that such things are back to help our young girls and boys to be able to realize that sometimes some of us, I don't want to lie, mathematics was not my thing, But I don't want to lie, arts was my thing, and that's why I'm here today, because I was given an opportunity to perform Kamakufe. Thank you. I didn't mention that the food is for free. So ha le bona menu le ska la wara la re hey jwale tlamehile re patale, and there are waiters going around the room. Please do raise your hand if you want to order something, and there's also a cash bar. So dijo tlabe di le monate, we will indeed be breaking bread. I would like to call on stage MEC for DESTEA Ntate Toto Makume for message of support. Ke kopa re me ka maoto re montshe hlompho.
Thank you, you may be seated. Thank you, Program Director, our distinguished guest, my colleague, the counterpart, Mayor MEC Sifuba Zanele, and all of you, our VIPs today. I want to tell you one thing I've never told anyone before. You look so super, super fabulous. Give yourself a hand. So we were told by the Premier that we must bring back Makufe, and it was assigned to Mayor Zanele Sifuba. Our responsibility as the DESTEA was just to promote and market Makufe. Then we realized that because of time and resources, there are other things that we are going to miss in the midst of Makufe activities. One of them was the usual women's session where you'll be called to come and have artists singing for you, celebrating women. We then said as the DESTEA, let's have a summit. Then colleagues came back to me and said, no, there's a summit that is being organized by Ndatenko Kelly, and the best thing we can do is to join and support. So that's how we came into the picture. We came into the picture because of one thing only, that it's high time that women takes their place in the society. Whether it's religious, whether it's politics, whether it's social, whether it's business, it's high time that we recognized women as human beings. Not women as subjects, not women as things that we may use, not women as punching bags, not women as the individuals that we can do as we wish as men. That's the reason why we decided to participate on this. But secondly, we decided to participate because it was bringing an element of economic development. You will realize that the 7th administration has decided that one of the objectives that we must achieve is to build an inclusive economic growth. So you can't have an economic growth by excluding women in the economic sphere. So that's the reason why we wanted to come and participate. But my message to all the women here is that it's high time that we also get united. We get our act together so that we support each other. There have been many narratives that have been preached to women and in a way trying to discourage you to do other things. One of the popular narrative is the one that you all know of, that the women's place is in the kitchen. That has destroyed so many women, but it has also destroyed many men. It has destroyed families because in so denying women to participate in other activities, we have also denied ourselves to grow a nation. Because there's a saying that if you teach a woman, you teach the nation. But if you teach a man, you teach an individual. The last thing, there's always a say again that behind every successful woman, every successful man, there's a strong woman. Have we ever imagined if we can change that mantra and say, behind every successful woman, there has to be a strong woman, so that we begin to support each other and begin to work together and resolve all your problems that you are faced with. There are opportunities out there that are made specifically for women, but the fact that you don't seem to be working together, it makes you not to access those opportunities. There are also talents that are seated here, inside of this hall, outside, that can only be extracted by women, but it is being denied because you seem not to be working together. So my appeal to all of you beautiful women inside here and outside is that it's high time that we work together and build a society that we want to live in. If there's an ideal about a better society, it's a society that must be led by women. If there's an ideal about better children, they can only come if we've got better women leading those children. If there's an ideal about a better progressive and profit-making business, it can only be coming from the women. So you've got so many potential, you've got so many talents. All what you need to do is to take each other's hand, bring every woman up. Every woman who goes up must always extend a hand down to bring another woman. In so doing, we're going to have a better life and better society. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ntate. As he was speaking about, one thing that was in my head is support. And I think from a very young age, as a young woman growing up, it feels like it was instilled in us to compete as women, when we should just be standing together as women to make sure that we win. But growing up, I don't know if you guys went through the same. Ha re hola, o no tla utlwa mme wa next door a compete le wa next door ka di-curtain. He o tsa go reka curtain e tshwanang le yaka, ne re dula re lwana ke mme o lwana le mme o mong. But I think I like what's happening now, where we see more and more women coming together and working together in businesses, in the arts, and also just as friends. You do have powerful people in our lives that we call good friends, and they are sisters, and we are working together. So thank you for that, and that it's a reminder that as women, we should stand together instead of competing. Because compete. I'm sure also even walking in, because this is the time and this is our time. All right, I'm going to call Ms. Charmaine Muller from Nedbank for financial education. I want to hear because when it comes to finances, every day I want to hear about financial education. Let's welcome Charmaine Muller.
Beautiful. Good morning, Queens. I'm going to say it again. Good morning, Queens. Yes, that's more like it. And thank you so much, Program Director, and a very good morning to our distinguished guests, honorable guests, and of course, our women leaders. Yay! Yana, I heard Mr. Toto saying, you guys are gorgeous. But he didn't actually say it the way that I'm seeing it right now. You ladies look strong. Yes! My name is Charmaine Muller, and I am proudly from Nedbank. And we are all about money. Yes, actually, that is my surname, Muller. We pride ourselves with ensuring that we empower individuals with effective ways in which you can manage your own personal finances. And that is why we exist as a financial institution. But it is also my privilege to join you at this remarkable gathering an event dedicated to inspiring, uplifting, and equipping women for longevity, leadership, and purpose. I am honored to contribute to a platform that celebrates strength, vision, and transformative power of women. And these are attributes of resilience. When I reflect on resilience, especially in the South African context, I think of women. Women who rise in the face of adversity. Women who stretch rands and resources to provide for their families. Women who build and rebuild not once, but countless times. Resilience is not just something women have, it is who we are. But resilience alone is not enough. To thrive across a lifetime, resilience must be paired with the right tools, the right knowledge, and the right partners. And that's where Nedbank commitment comes in. At Nedbank, we are purpose-led, and our purpose is clear. It is to use our financial expertise to do good for individuals, families, businesses, and communities. We believe financial resilience is not just about surviving today. It's about building longevity, creating the kind of future where women are not only present, but powerful, not only participants, but decision makers, not only resilient, but thriving. So what does banking on resilience look like in practice? It looks like women being empowered with financial literacy so that every rand is intentional. It looks like access to smart banking tools and digital platforms that make managing money simpler, safer, and smarter. It looks like sustainable investment solutions that ensure that money that you work hard for also works for you. It also looks like financial partners who understand that women are not just a homogeneous group, but a dynamic individual with unique journeys, ambitions, as well as responsibilities. Resilience also means recognizing that while the world can be uncertain, whether through economic shifts, pandemics, or personal challenges, our financial foundations must be built to last. Ladies, the truth is, we cannot always predict tomorrow, but we can certainly prepare for it. And preparation is where true resilience really meets longevity. Nedbank is proud to stand as a thought leader in this space, not just talking about resilience, but actively designing tools and solutions that reflect it. From everyday banking to long-term investments, from supporting entrepreneurs to enabling families, we are driven by that purpose, by impact, and by the belief that when women rise, nations rise. As we leave here today, my hope is that each and every one of us works away not just inspired, but empowered and equipped with the courage to dream boldly, the wisdom to plan carefully, and the financial tools to ensure our resilience carries us into the future of longevity, prosperity, as well as legacy. And as you walk this journey, know that Nedbank is not behind you, not ahead of you, but besides you, as a partner in resilience, a builder of tools, and a believer in your financial legacy. Because banking on resilience is not just about money. It's about meaning, empowerment, and continuity for generations to come. Together, let's see money differently. Together, let's build, or rather bank on resilience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. when it comes to money, be like in a comment. Because I love money, but the fact that and app, you know that feeling when you open the app? Like it's a feeling you are basadi. O bula app, how bula app, o check mo phone nung ore. O bone ki o chelete iteng. But unfortunately, tshwanetse tsamaya ke ha itsena ya tswa. Ha itsena ya tswa. And then we have to also now understand and learn about money, because some of us, we grew up without even the knowledge of how to save money. And I'm sure you guys have seen stories about people in our industry. Ke rona ba hore shwa re le poor, ha re itse go save tšhelete. A ke re mara ha e tsena ya tswa bazalwane. Ha se rona, ha se re rata dilo. Ha e tsena hela o wa shoota, o shoota movie, ha movie o hela, ha le re bona ko TV ntla be wa giga ne kanti khale o patetse bonto kapa rente. So I think most of these conversations about money, personally for me, it's very important because I grew up without money, and now it's my chance to understand and learn the importance of saving, the importance of investing, the importance of making sure that you have a healthy relationship with money. So thank you so much, Ms. Muller. Okay, I can remember I spoke about that competition at the 100,000, the raffle. So I'm going to call on stage Dr. Susie to come and talk about it. You go by Dr. Susie Adler. Dr. Susie on stage. Okay, well, Mona, she's coming. She's going to help us with our beauty, our body, and everything. Right, doctor? How are you?
Good, and yourself? Thank you. Good morning, everybody. How are you feeling? Are you all okay? It's an incredible honor and privilege for me today to stand here in front of you. I mean, wow, have you looked around? You guys look amazing. The fashion I've seen today, it's really well done. You guys are really, really beautiful. My name is Suzanne Stale. I'm 45 years old. I was born in Bloemfontein, and I'm so proud to call this my city. And thank you for the organizers organizing this event. I think this is truly an incredible event, and I hope this is the first of many. In 2019, a new trend started, and the world became obsessed with hot girl summer. Hot girl summer, everywhere that you look, you see these bikini bodies. We are under pressure to look perfect, and we have this vision of what perfect should be. Now, ladies, there's a new currency in town, and that currency is health. Nothing is more important than health. Without health, we are nothing. You over here, I'm sure we wear many hats. You have a hat as mother. You have a hat as wife or girlfriend. Some of you are leaders. Some of you are daughters. And that has a lot of pressure on us. And I understand that it's not always easy, but I'm here today to tell you, you are not alone. We are going to change Hot Girl Summer, and we're going to start a new trend called Healthy Girl Summer. So if the new currency is health, we must understand that when we have our health, we can love deeply, we can take care of our families, and we can change the world. In one way or another, all of us are struggling, and today I want to tell you a story of myself. 2 years ago, I was really, really struggling. I was struggling with my weight. I was really sick. I had arthritis in my fingers. So bad that in the mornings I couldn't close or bend my fingers. I could never wear any rings. I had fibromyalgia, and every day was a struggle for me. I had pain and I was stiff in my body. And my younger brother, I wasn't planning to tell you this, but my younger brother got diagnosed with motor neuron disease when he was only 33 years old. And those of you that don't know, it's the same disease as Joost van der Westhuizen. And we know that your health is super important. So when he passed away at 35, I knew I had to take care of my body. because that's all we have in life. Forget about money, forget about success. It's about your health, and that's all we have. So we've got a responsibility to take care of ourselves, but it is so difficult. So me and my partner, Dr. Tommy Smook, we started a program, and it helped us to reset our bodies. Not only did I lose 24 kilograms, but I don't have arthritis in my fingers anymore. My fibromyalgia went away completely, and it reset my whole body, and it gave me my life back. And now we have a responsibility to share the good news and to share it with lots of people out there to say that you are not alone, there is hope. So we're all fighting in one way or another an addiction. Who can tell me what addiction we are fighting? Sugar. Sugar is probably the worst drug of all times. Well done. I'll give you a present afterwards. Sugar is probably the worst drug. Sugar steals from us. Sugar don't just steal our health, it steals our joy, steals our longevity and our livelihoods. So how can we fight this war against sugar? So I'm inviting you today to join us. And on your tables, you'll see there's these leaflets. Our clinic's name is on there. In the past year and a half, we've helped more than 40,000 patients, lost more than 900 tons of fat. And along with that, probably about 12,000 of our patients went off their chronic disease medication. It reversed some of our patients, it reversed their diabetes, they went off high blood pressure medication, they went off their cholesterol medication. Imagine a world where you can wake up feeling energized, feeling like you can really take over the world. So please make contact with us. You can come in for a free consultation with one of our doctors. On the tables, we've given you some gifts. There's the Pepto meals. I always say that's like medication in a bag. It contains all your macro and micronutrients, your vitamins, your pre and probiotics. It's so easy to make. You guys are all businesswomen. You're on the run. There's never time to eat. Eat is really important. So once a day, take your little Pepto meal, shake it with cold water, 250 ml cold water, and have the Pepto meal, and you'll feel the difference. Today I'm here with two of my colleagues, Dr. Jana and Dr. Kobus. So in the break, if you guys want to find out more about metabolic disturbances, sugar addiction, weight loss, your longevity, or your aesthetics, then please come and say hello to us. We would love to meet you. We've been changing and saving lives throughout South Africa, and we are proudly Bloemfontein mense. So guys, let's take our health back. Health is power, and I cannot wait to meet you. And let's do this. Here you go, thank you. Okay, so the raffle that they were talking about is what you can win is to come in for a full assessment. Our clinic consists of 11 medical doctors. There's 3 dietitians, a psychologist, a biokineticist. We've got 8 nurses, and we've also got specialists like gynecologists working on female health. So you'll win a full consultation on helping you to reset your body, reset your mind, your health, lose the weight, and regain your confidence. So it's really save your life package, basically. So you can either win it, buy a raffle, or you can come and speak to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. I just want to ask, obviously, because by raising your hand, for example, I know that everyone would look at me and think, oh, you're so confident, oh, papa, but there are certain things that I'm not satisfied about. about myself, like on my body. So I ke batla ho bona hore ha ke iwane na. A ke re basadi it's a safe space. A ke re ke kopa le njwetseng, le emise matsoho. Is there that one little thing that you want to change or add or subtract on your bodies? Ne? Oh, baba sa imisa matsoho ke a le rata hle le re thuseng ka confidence. Especially after having kids, right? Things do change. And yes, I do acknowledge that, for example, we will never be the same. I'm in my late 30s, and I've accepted there's nothing that will happen. 30-something, 30-something. But when I look at myself, and I look at myself when I was in my 20s, ke bona difference, even though I ke ha re apere re bantle. Mara ke re wena o itshebile mo spilling wa bona gore he go le pothole nyana kae kae go na le eng. But the one thing that I like about us women now, we do have options. Like she said, we go to gym, health, but also at the same time, let's also be kind to each other. Because some women do go to gym, and maybe the gym is not working, not because her badly, menopause, oh. Like Noah menopause. Like Noah. Menopausal, so sometimes you look at women out there, oh, bonanton. Ntombi umatha gym ha lose weight kanti also about she's really going through something, not because of gym ha isebetsi, but there are certain things because of our health, because of menopause, and because of other things that women go through. Sometimes you won't lose the weight immediately, but let's explore those options, right? Now, one thing that I would like to add, ha ke itse gore ya le diragala nna ke bone recently ha ke itse meno aka aya kae a shifta. Meno ke ya bazalwane a shift ha ke tsebe meno aya kae. There's little gaps that are happening, and nna ke rata go bua thata ke le ngapedise ntlheng ha le rapela le mpe mo rene gore meno a boela. I don't know meno aya kae, but my teeth are shifting. So please, when you pray for me. Lwena oh ha ke iwane. Thank you, my sister. I would like to call ha re nne monate ge go nne le music nyana ke khale re bua o sthiwe a tlo re tshwara ka tse pedi tse tharo di note nyana tseo a tlo bina mo staging. Let me check if she is ready. O nkanna ka bika mo binela tlare for part ha rimpuza sepo ya ka.
Nothing seems complete. I set up and I'm searching for what I've had in me. And when I have sorrows, say humanity, I gotta find. Are you ready to sing along? All right, let's go. 'Cause I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, she is. Even as the soul put on us with a miss so much, yes, I do. So much better. This is for all the mothers fighting for better days to come. And all my women sitting here trying to come home before the sun. And all my sisters coming together. Say yes, I will. Yes, I can. 'Cause I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on my vest with an S on my chest. Oh yes, I'm a superwoman. Oh, let me tell you why I am. I'm a superwoman. Yes, I am. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on my best with an S on my chest. Oh, I'm a superwoman. Oh, I'm a superwoman. Yes, I am. 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 Yes, you are. Yes, I am. Yes, we are. Dumela. Bon, batle, dumelang hleng. Le phetse. My name is Tiwe. Ke ngwanyana Thenezene. Yeah, ke ngwanyana Thenezene. And it's always so fulfilling to be in a room full of women, to remind ourselves just how amazing we are. I hope you're gonna enjoy this one. It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory. You are the one with all the strength. Only a face without a name. I never once heard you complain. Oh, did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I'd like to be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all right here in my heart.
as ke sne ke lla, it's that dipina tse so didn't get emotional, like it's over maybe it's that time of the month where no don't la lwen. Eh, ka para go wa bathong. Wetsi ke dutse khale ne ga go ne. Ke dutse ka mora go khale ha ntsa bina khe. Boa gape o dire line e la dilasi bathong re lle betere. Line e la dilasi go ga ntsa go o lo tlo dutse ke petemo. Motha mone mara ga go le lebaka la go wa ha o itsullelang. A ke tse ya go dira galana why you find yourself someone's voice or the lyrics or the song just makes you wanna cry. Nele nna ko backstage ntleng kopele matsogo at least the emotions nyana di tswile. All right. Thank you so much, Tiwe. Yo, Khale, ke one of those people bankareng I grew up listening to her. Since ntse re tla re hola re tseba hore there's this amazing artist from the Free State o leng hore wa bina e ka re modimo a ka o okeletsa for more and more. Because it's so tough in our industry, bathong. We have to pray for one another. Okay, I don't know if my DJ, is that for our next guest?
Career embodies the very theme of thriving with longevity, leadership, and purpose. She is a seasoned PR and communications specialist, a brand strategist with over a decade of experience, and a master at crafting powerful narratives that not only inform but inspire. With her deep passion for knowledge, creation, and sharing, she has guided businesses and individuals alike in building strong, lasting connections that spark growth and collaboration. Beyond her professional accolades, she is a woman of integrity, grounded in her values and faith, a God-fearing leader who brings authenticity and purpose to every space she steps into. From Johannesburg, with an impact felt far beyond, she is here in the City of Roses to pour into us, to challenge us, and to inspire us to rise. But Abaha Umama, please help me to welcome on stage Amanda Muruba.
I know you, Mare. I'll pretend like I don't know you. Welcome, my sister.
Tumela, le kae? Ai ke nnete le batla wa itse. Ai rapatela o bona batho ba batle so. So today I am representing her wine, and so thank you so much. And in representing her wine, I'd like to start with a say that says, as I stand here, I'd like us to remember that a great wine is not just a drink, but a story of the people and the land that brought it together. Honorable members and respected guests, I would like to extend my gratitude to the organizers of Breaking Bread for inviting me and us as the Her Wine brand to share the story of Her Wine collection. It's an honor to be at this event that brings people together, celebrate conversations and connections. Her Wine is more than a brand. It is a movement, a redefining of South African wine through the industry. And through its empowerment and excellence of cultural pride, it is a brand that understands the purpose that is driven to the key of leadership and longevity. It focuses and empowers the inclusivity and the brand as it stands firm on its strong foundation. So with the brand, it's got 5 variances now. So each bottle embodies a woman. It embodies a woman's character, it embodies a woman's strength, it talks about the richness, the boldness of each woman. So we have the Shiraz, the Pinotage, the Shannon, and the Sauvignon Blanc. So as you walk out, you'll see our stand on your right-hand side. Please do come for a tasting so that we can continue the journey of Her Wine. Our wines are a reflection of South Africa's unique terroir and the dedication of women who cultivated. We are committed to sustainable farming and practices that every bottle not only tastes great, but also contributes to a better future. I'm proud to say that our general manager and winemaker, Praisy Dlamini, was honored with the prestige Growing Inclusivity Award at the annual Wine Harvest commemoration event. Thank you. This recognition is a testament of collection's impact on the industry and its commitment to inclusivity and empowerment. Praise Dlamini is not just a face behind the brand, but a winemaker and a general manager that ensures the quality of the grapes are picked and goes into the final product is nothing short of quality and consistency. The perfect style for each wine bottle is the set of the taste of the wine. She is a woman who stands behind the brand and has worked for numerous farms before the great necessary experience traditions of winemaking in wineries like Grahamburg, Le Brie, and many more of South Africa's top wineries, especially in the Western Cape. I know if she was here, she was going to speak of the brand with more depth, so much more, irrespective of the challenges faced, and the famous say that always says that it is a male-dominated industry. We are honored to see that the brand is growing nationally as well. So her wine is not just in South Africa, but it is also in the United Kingdom and United States, as it is a testament to global alliance and our mission. Looking ahead, we are excited that we are launching our limited premium Cape Classic, which is a MCC. It is a wine proceed that releases and will be a contribution to our scholarship. So with the wines, we've got a bursary called the Hair Wine Collection Bursary. And so with that bursary, we have graduated 9 students so far, and to that families who work at farms are able to ensure to see their children go to schools at the end of the year. Scholarship is more than a philanthropic initiative. It is an investment in the future of our industry and our commitment by supporting and sustaining young talent. We are fostering sustainable economic development and empowerment. We are also celebrating 100 years of Pinotage. And as we celebrate the 100 years, I'd like to inform you that the Pinotage scored 94 out of 100 at this year's Trophy Wine Show. This goes to show that we strive to pursue our Pinotage history, dating it back to 1925 Pinotage of South Africa. Now, in conclusion, her wine is not just a wine brand, it is a symbol of transformation, inclusivity, and empowerment. And we are proud of our journey and look forward to continuing to make a positive impact in the wine industry and beyond. We are also happy to inform you that this year we are celebrating 5 years of the industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you so much. I think one thing that I've learned starting a business or trying to start a business is that you are a woman in an industry that's, like she said, that's dominated by men. Starting a business in general is not easy. You open, you close. Nin you open, you start again. Nin you are through house khona. But I think one thing that inspires us is hearing stories like this. Even in industries where it's male dominated, we can enter everywhere. So thank you so much, Amanda. Let us welcome our next speaker, please. It's coming. Some things are out of our control, my sisters. Ba ratang social media tlheng ha re direng di hashtag ba bona ga trend. Hashtag breaking bread 2025 re tseng di selfie re post ba bona gore ne re le mohala rotlhe akere ha re trending on social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram kapa my favorite TikTok. I love TikTok. If ne ke itse go bina while we waiting, ne ke tlo go bina monate gore mara tate modimo ntimile that talent. We'll just wait a bit for the intro for our next speaker, Austumi Lebaka. Ha ke bone le tlhafuna le orderile dijo. Le dirile di QR codes mo di founung. Le ba biditse to order. Ha ba sotle. O spresitse mo founung tshom. So dijo di kae wala tlhafune. O di atla.
Leadership and transformation. Born and bred in the Free State, she has risen to become one of South Africa's most respected executives and change makers. Recognized by the President Cyril Ramaphosa at the Future of HR Awards in 2019, Kiitumetse Lebaka stands as a symbol of impactful leadership and purpose-driven transformation. She is a trained life coach, a mentor, an MBA graduate, and a business owner. Today, she serves as a CEO of the Gauteng Film Commission, where she leads the development of South Africa's creative economy while empowering small businesses to thrive. Her passion for women's empowerment has seen her initiative groundbreaking programs that propelled women into senior leadership and boardroom positions. She continues to mentor and coach, shaping the next generation of leaders. And beyond the executive titles, she is an author and a podcaster, about to release her book, Thrive, born from her thriving online community that inspires thousands to grow personally and professionally. From Kwakwa in the Free State to the national stage, she embodies what it means to rise, lead, and empower. Please welcome to the stage, Kiitumetse Lebaka.
Ha re mo pele matsogo. Hello.
Wonderful. Good afternoon. Dumelang. I'm just waiting for the screen to just go up a bit. Dumelang. Lekai. You know, I get to speak in international stages, and it's my first time speaking back at home. And for me, it's really wonderful. I'm here with my mom, and she possibly doesn't know that I speak about her in my keynote. So, Mama, you're part of this journey. Wonderful. Good. Wonderful. I think we can move to the next video. And let's just play. Thank you. Got about 4 videos in here. Yeah. Yeah. It's part of the. Do you have it separate? No. What do you mean?
Sesotho se re ke mathata a tekgniki. We will swap the guests while Aus Tumi is. Ke kopa o fokotse music hanyane. Thank you. Ke kopa le re tshwareleng hle bomme. Ke mathata a technology. So we will swap our speakers while Aus Tumi is getting her MacBook for her presentation. Ke kopa o tlale the next audio for our next speaker, please. Re tlo amohela Ausi Nako Lindazwe.
Our next speaker is a woman whose name in isiXhosa Sinako means we can. And through her life's work, she has proven that indeed we can. Advocate Sinako Lindazwe is a practicing advocate with an unshakable commitment to justice, transformation, and the empowerment of others. She holds both an LLB and an LLM and is a proud member of the Johannesburg Society of Advocates, where she also serves on a bar council and as an executive member of Advocates for Transformation. Her legal journey is marked by excellence, with several reported judgments that have contributed meaningfully to the development of South African law. In 2016, she served as a law researcher to Justice Jafta at the Constitutional Court before being elevated to senior law researcher to the former Chief Justice of the Republic, Justice Raymond Zondo. Her passion for uplifting the youth inspired her to establish the Sinabo We Can movement, NPC, a powerful mentorship and empowerment platform dedicated to guiding aspiring legal practitioners from marginalized backgrounds into spaces where they too can thrive. Her outstanding work has been recognized with numerous accolades, including being named one of the Mail and Guardian's top 200 young South Africans, receiving the Outstanding Young Persons of South Africa Award from Junior Chamber International, honorary membership of the Golden Key Honors Society, and the Mackenzie & Co. Next Generation Women Leaders Awards. She is a legal mind, a mentor, a movement builder, and above all, a living embodiment of her name, a powerful declaration that we can. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Advocate Sinako Lindazwe.
Woo!
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Such an honor to speak before you today. A lot of people know, and I hope they do, lawyers don't usually, speak and give free legal advice to people. We charge a lot of money, but today is such a prestigious occasion of empowerment. And I hope that every woman who will leave today will leave empowered. As my bio was read, I'm a woman that wears many hats. And oftentimes, some of those hats that are forgotten, similarly to my bio today, is that I'm also a mom, and I'm also someone's wife. I think it's important that I say that because a lot of people that are here, which are women building brands, these are women that are juggling between building a family, which comes with a lot of sacrifice. It's very important that we acknowledge the strides that we make as women on a daily basis and the sacrifices that we make to be here today. And I'm sure many of the women that are here today had to ask another woman to babysit their kids. So can we please give a round of applause to those women? Those women that make it possible for us to even enter rooms such as these. I believe that I am a testament of dynamite comes in small sizes as well. And in 2016, when I clerked for the Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa, Judge Raymond Zondo, something that came to my mind, which was very relevant and still is that when Judge Zondo started his career as an attorney many years ago, he started under the late Victoria Mxenge, who is a testament herself of that when you empower a woman, you truly empower a nation. Because if Victoria Mxenge did not give Justice Zondo an opportunity, there would not have been a Judge Zondo. And if there was no Judge Zondo, there would not have been a me standing in front of you today. If it was not for that resilient woman, many of us probably wouldn't be here today because, as it was said earlier, behind every successful man, there's a powerful woman. So today, I can't help, of course, as well, to think back to when I first stepped into the legal profession. When I got my master's degree, I was merely 23 years of age. So you can imagine how that felt like. And when I entered the legal profession at the Constitutional Court, I was the first of my kind. I think something that I need to highlight is that I come from the dusty streets of Colesberg. I think many of you would know it by just passing on your way to Cape Town. But the people from Colesberg are people that come from nothing but aspire to enter these rooms. So when I stand here, I do not only represent myself, but I represent a nation before me that only dreamt to be in these rooms. Having said so, actually, I have to acknowledge as well my aunt who is here today, supportive of this event. And when I speak of entering the courtroom at that age, as nervous as I was, clutching on my notes, my voice was also betraying me. I'll never forget the opposing counsel, an older male, white, and of course who looked at me up and down and said, "Are you sure you're in the right courtroom?" Because when you start the legal profession, you start with unopposed matters. But here I was leading an opposed matter. In that moment, I had two choices: to shrink and confirm his doubts, or stand tall and show him exactly why I belonged there. I chose the latter. I spoke with all the confidence I could muster, and by the end of the session, his smirk was gone. It ended in a reportable judgment, which stands as a case reference for years to come. And in that moment, it was important for me to remember that many years ago, women could not even practice law. Women were taught that their place is in the kitchen. And the courtroom was a space where women were only seen as clients, never as counsel. But today we are rewriting that history. Many times, this means you are the first in those rooms. Of course, like I said, today I sit at a bar council, which is a body that decides who gets to be in the profession in the first place. But being the first in rooms is not an achievement. When I entered the legal profession and I was at the Constitutional Court, this is something that I identified firsthand. That if I just basked in the glory of being first, I could be the last. That is why I started the SWCM non-profit company. It stands for Sinako We Can. Not because I love my name so much, but Sinako in isiXhosa means we can. We can overcome, we can triumph, we can become great. So for every student that I mentor through SWCM, it means that they are affirmed, that they truly can, despite their living realities, despite where they come from, they can also enter the spaces that I have entered. So we're shifting the status quo as women in spaces that have been for years male-dominated. We now enter these spaces and not only occupy these spaces, but we find strategic ways on how women can sustain and build legacies in those spaces. 2 weeks ago, we hosted the SWCM colloquium, where the newly appointed Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa, Justice Mlambo, was a speaker. And looking at that room full of hopeful law students, I told Judge that it's important for us to build such allies with men who are in the room right here listening, men who are in our lives. We need not be shy to build those allies because the strength of our network, the relationships we cultivate, and the bridges that we preserve as we climb the ladder, it is what opened doors for us. Because longevity in law and in any other space, it's not about what you win, it's not about the seat that you occupy, but it is about the reputations you build, the trust you earn, and being respected and maintaining a reputation that other people can also trust their reputation with. And that is why I could ask the Deputy Chief Justice of South Africa to honor us with his presence. So, as I am at the end of my speech, if anything that I should leave all the women that are here, is that each of us are a brand. We're building brands and we're building legacies. And in us building legacies, the question that we must always ask ourselves is that to whom are we building these legacies for? Because at the end of the day, our kids will have to enter these spaces as well. But what we do today, it ensures whether they go through the same trials we went through, or if we create a space that makes it easy for them to enter the profession as well. I spoke about the male-dominated profession that I'm in. And one thing that I'm going to highlight off script is that it's still dominated by white people. These are the white people that we as black people trust with our briefs, instead of trusting one another with the work. Sometimes I, myself, being the dynamite that I am, I'd walk into a room and clients would say, but can I really trust that person? Because she's so tiny, right? And because she's black and because she's a woman. But what you do not know is that behind the scenes, it's the white people that actually give us the work, and we do it for them, and they present it as their work. So walk boldly, walk ethically, but build with longevity in mind. May we be women who are not only remembered for their titles. Let us be women with impact. Let us be women who are remembered for the impact that we've made, the trust we earned, and the doors that we've opened. Because in that cycle, it's the only way that we will ensure that we as women keep on entering these kinds of doors. Thank you.
Thank you, Kezia. Thank you so much, Advocate. I think for me, I'm just truly inspired. It's so inspiring. Every speaker that was here, as a woman from here, Mo Bloemfontein, I am truly inspired by everyone who spoke here and by you guys. I think more than anything, every day we learn. And as I was sitting and I'm thinking, education is still cool. Because the influencer and whatnot. Education is monate, go ya sekolong go monate, go rutega go monate, and it's never too late. Maybe I must take a second qualification, ne? But nka nna bo ma psychologist, so e seng lawyer. Law. Ka psychology. Ka law. Yo, I tlo mpalla sekgowa. At least I was a psychologist, I counselor, but you so try to mole, you do left to know. Tell me who wets a lunch level Pulomba how rebuing. I know happy, but I think I'll take a second qualification. I want to check if Ostumi's presentation is ready. Okay, please come back on stage, Ostumi. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm in the film industry, and when the first shot did not do good, we go second take. So this is the second tape. Please, can we go to the next slide and play video so that you can get well acquainted to me? Perfect. Can we get the sound?
She was born in a beautiful mountainous homeland called Gwadwa. Very early on, her parents were intentional about creating a better and comfortable life for them as kids. They went to the best nursery schools, to the best schools in Gwadwa, and boarding schools in the KZN region. Best holidays. Her life was destined for greatness, or so she thought. And then it turned to lemons. The economy of Gwadwa capsized. Businesses closed down just when she had to start her tertiary journey. It was gloomy. She moved from a beautiful setting in Gwadwa to a shack in a dusty, underdeveloped, informal settlement where the morning greeting were droplets of dew in winter. Dusty streets and dreams shattered. Unemployed with no plan, she knew she had to bounce back. She enrolled as an avid tutor, teaching the elderly how to read and write in the dusty informal settlements. She had to find a way of turning her situation around and thrive. She took every opportunity that would turn around her situation, enrolled in a long-distance course, facilitated youth programs, moved to another small town to become an administrator. Today, she is a PhD candidate. She has been a CEO of 2 government entities, turned around institutions, re-engineering systems, leading performing organizations, transforming sectors, coaching businesses, and taking on innovative projects. Life needs those with a hunger to thrive. Let her inspire you and let you know that you too will thrive.
This is my story. It's your story. It's all our story. You know, as women, our lives are intertwined. We are cut from the same cloth. And the sooner we realize that our strength comes from the challenges we face, the sooner we realize that we need to embrace our strength. We need to thrive, not for us only, but for the little nieces that are looking after, that are coming behind us, for our daughters and everybody who is coming behind us. We need to have new lenses as women. Lenses that say, as I rise and elevate, I need to take another woman with me. No woman must be left behind. I still sit in boards where I'm one of 2 or 3 females. I still chair boards where females are not there. And it's about time that we take the decision as women to take the seats where we need to. We need to understand that obscurity diminishes as you go up the corporate ladder. That means that you become more visible. And your visibility allows you to start making change in policies, to start making path for other women to come. So as women, we must be deliberate that those senior positions, those CEO positions, those chairmanships are not just for the men. They're for us too. Next slide. Let's move. Work with me. My path started in Kwakwa. And very early on, my parents invested in good education for us. They thought it was great. And I remember when they took me to one of the first schools in Sentinel. I don't know who was in Sentinel from Kwakwa here, but I was moving from the more rural parts of Kwakwa to Sentinel, which is more in the Putadichaba area back then. When I got there, I felt so much like a misfit. And throughout all my history, going to a boarding school, one of the most affluent in South Africa to date, I felt like a misfit. But I realized that my being a misfit has created in me an ability to look for ways to empower people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds. I remember when I took one of my first CEO roles, my point was to say, let us come and develop women in the tourism sector, in the tourist sector, to make sure that SMEs begin to thrive. My journey started in Kwakwa, and I realized that it is important that I embrace who I am, embrace the strengths of where I come from. And I realized very quickly that authenticity is important, that the person who is next to you may look like you, but they're not you. And I normally say that you make a great you, but a lousy somebody else. The world is not looking for another Tumi, it's looking for the authentic you. And it's about time as women we become very deliberate about branding yourself. Somebody says, I work, how do I brand myself? You brand yourself in the workplace. That's how it's been done. So branding is no longer just a matter of you saying, hey, I'm gonna sit down. Listen. How you brand yourself, we start with your WhatsApp. What do you post on your WhatsApp? Let's talk about your Instagram, your LinkedIn. That's how you brand yourself. So we need to be very authentic enough to be able to brand ourselves. My journey has had a number of up and down, a lot of challenges. But one thing I've learned, and one thing I'm very deliberate about, is that my tears, me being battered, me going through the depression, me going through all death threats, it's not for me alone. It's for the many women who are coming after me. Next slide. And because I spent so much time being in corporate alone, as a female, in most of the organizations I was at, I then took all my lessons and I decided I'm going to write a book called Thrive. And Thrive talks to, one, the power to transform yourself. As women, we must be very deliberate and evolve in every situation we find ourselves. H is for hope. Hope is like a light that comes into a room when it seems like nothing is going to come through. 3 is resilience. Resilience is about the strength that we have as women to get through anything that life throws at us. And I is for inspiration. It is the ability to find inspiration in yourself, also inspiration in the lives of many women that you surround yourself. V is for victory. Victory talks about the power of celebrating successes big and small. Because as women, we need to be as deliberate about registering for that cause as well as being deliberate about graduating. And E, my favorite, is about empowerment. There's no river without a stream. There is no river without an ocean. So as women, we need to be very deliberate by pouring into each other. I remember when we moved from Kwakwa, the economy had sort of collapsed. My parents had to close down their businesses, and we needed to start afresh. Here in Bloemfontein, it was in the informal settlements. And I remember having been in one of the best schools and now finding myself in informal settlements. I was devastated. I thought, what's going to happen with me and my future? And I remember we lived in a shack like this. I went and I did a vision board and I put it on the wall. And in the mornings, when you stay in a shack, or we've stayed in a shack, you know the droplets that would come and dry off the ink. And I remember when I was in that shack, there was a voice inside of me, and I believe it was God, who was saying, dream, because I'm going to bring it to pass. It is in this shack that I experienced abject poverty for the first time. Seeing young girls giving themselves to tavern lives. Seeing child-headed homes for the first time, not on TV, not on the news. And I remember at that particular time, cooperating and going to lobby business people in and around. And I'm like, let's start a feeding scheme. And I started my first feeding scheme at around 1920. And at that particular time, I was solving a problem of poverty as a 19, 20-year-old in the informal settlement. And then I learned something very great that I take with me everywhere, that life is about collaboration. As women, we need to be able to find areas where you can collaborate with another. Big brands are doing it. Why don't we do it? Because it's about collaboration that's able to take us forward. When I was in this shack, I did not know that 17 years later, I'd be a CEO, not of one public entity, but over 2 public entities. And I remember taking my first CEO role, and things had been going so well. I was impacting the industry. Things were doing great. I was getting accolades. And I remember at the end of the term, I had gone and been interviewed, and I was one of the top candidates, and you know, you do your psychometric, and you're part of the first candidate as well. So for me, it was like, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to be reappointed. Like, it's doing great. And I remember getting the news that your contract is not going to be renewed. I was shattered. I felt like I was hit on my rod by a rod on my solar plexus. It was devastating. But then I soon learned that God has a way of coming through in difficult situations. That as I was busy doing all the work, that somebody was looking. I got headhunted to my new CEO role. And at that particular point, I realized that life is about the ups and the downs. Next slide, work with me here. And I realized that as you transform and take new roles, you must allow yourself to transform, like this butterfly here. Next slide. And I learned the power of transformation. And for me, it is about work ethic in whatever you do. I remember when I took my first CEO role, I was an executive, walking into the boardroom, not knowing that the board was looking for an interim CEO at that time. But I went there ready with my presentation, with the business solutions. And I remember getting approached. And here's my question. As ladies, how are you branding yourselves, your businesses, so that when you enter a room, when you leave that room, they're like, how do we extend your contract? How do we bring you on board? It's about what you put in. Two, it's about a winning mindset. We need to be able to think beyond our current circumstances. We need to be able to train our minds to think higher and better. It's also about creating value. What value are you creating in the spaces that you find yourself in? Because as a business, as a CEO, if I am going to hire, I'm looking for value. Here's the question. What value are you creating in the businesses that you're finding yourself in? 4, it's a life of impact. A life of impact is living beyond just you. If your life is just about me, my husband, my children, I suggest you start thinking about impact. And you start thinking about impact when you say, how is my life going to create a legacy beyond just myself? Last but not least, invest in yourself. You know, invest in your education, invest in your business, invest in your brand. Whatever you're touching, invest in it, because nobody's going to invest in you if you're not going to invest. Next slide. Next slide. I remember seeing this lady, I don't know if you've seen her on TikTok. Yes, Risa Tisa. So the story of Risa Tisa is, during COVID, she was scammed by a man who told her everything that is supposed to be true about him, but it was not. He had fake friends, fake uncles, fake everything. And Risa Tisa has been able to transform her life. She went to do a whole TikTok series of Who the F Did I Marry? And statistics says she made over $330,000 by telling her story. And I believe right now that her story is about to go on big broadcast platforms. And the story is, what I'm trying to paint is, how are you using your resilience to work for you? As women, we find ourselves in places and positions where we are stuck at times between a rock and a hard place. I know, I've been there. I don't know about you. Next slide. I remember I was at the top of my career, top of my CEO role. I was sitting at home and about to take my kids to bed. It was just mid-COVID. And I remember getting a message on my phone. And the message says, if you do not resign, this bullet is coming to you. They said, we know where your mom is. She's just retired 2 months ago. We know where your kids are. And at that time, my child was here in Grey College. I'm in Johannesburg. We will get him. And I had to sit back and reflect. It was a very dark period in our lives. And I made it very clear at that time that I'm not going to resign. The thing is, when you start making impact, when you start living in your ethics, when you start doing certain things, not everybody will be happy for you. That's a fact. And at any moment, this could have been I, or my kids, or my mom. Next slide. I had to start living a different life. Why? Because I'm a woman who said, I'm going to make impact. As all of this was happening, I found myself in a very deep place where depression came in. It was a dark period. But I did not resign. Next slide. And I learned another important lesson, that after darkness, light shines. That it doesn't remain in the dark forever. Next slide. And I had to lean on the women I had around me to draw inspiration and strength. Next slide. And I realized that the victory of other women were also mine. But I also realized that my victory was also to come. Next slide. Please play the video. And this was my moment.
From public entities. Cameroon Sello Muhajani from the CCMA and Kintumelezi Lebaka from the Culture, Art, Tourism, Hospitality and Sports Center. All from the state-owned entity.
And this was my moment. You know, they say, okay. They normally say, you know, you can get accolades from your board. Then you get accolades from your minister. But when it comes to from the president, like, it is different, right? It is different. Next slide. And I had moved from this shack right here to being this a PhD candidate. Next slide. I had moved from that shack to headlining newspapers. Next slide. And I realized that life is about the community of women working together, holding each other together. Next slide. And I realized that as women, we need to light each other's candle, because when it's brighter, it's good. And then I took a lesson from here. Let's play it real quick. This was the last year's Olympics, and why I chose this video is that women are handing over the baton to the next. And here's my question. In your business circle, in your industry, in your workplace, who are you going to be handing the baton to? Next slide. And for me, it's all about the power to thrive. Transform yourself. Find hope in the difficult situation. Take the resilience in you. Find inspiration, victory, and empowerment in yourself. Next slide, please, as I get to close. Please play the music. I remember I had hosted one of the first inaugural film summit in Gauteng. We had attracted over 1,000 emerging leaders in film. And as I was sitting, a middle-aged, just over 50 woman came to me. And she's like, CEO, can I talk to you? She put me on the side. And she's like, can I pray for your womb? And I'm like, I've got enough kids. Hold on here. She says, put your hand. I put my hand. She starts praying, God, may you give her more, because I've left here with something I never got before. And what she was saying to me at that moment is, I see you. And as women, we need to start seeing each other. Applaud the next woman who does good. Let's see each other. And she gave me a hug. And I realized that all of us matter. I want to speak to a woman here. You in business, you in corporate, you in various industries, male-dominated. Here's the thing. Your dream, your vision, it matters. Don't give up. Keep at it. Because the time is still going to come. Don't give up on your dream, woman. Your dream matters. And as it matters, remember, it's about the power to thrive. Next slide. As I conclude, as we live our lives, no woman must be left behind. The book Thrive is available just outside as we empower each other and pour into each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ostumi. What a powerful message, powerful. Every time I say next slide, there's more coming. Next slide, there's more coming. Thank you so much, Ostumi. What a beautiful, beautiful story. And again, I'm inspired. Ostiwe, re tlo lla gape o tlo bina. Le tshwareng di-tissue gape akere so that we're ready for go ba emotional. Ostiwe o tlo bina hape. Let's welcome her back on stage. Ha re mo pele matsogo, please.
Are we ready to go to church? Hi, are we ready to go to church? Oh, we're gonna sing along.
There will be mountains that I would have to climb, and there will be battles that I would have to fight. So victory, it's up to me to decide. But how can I expect to win if I never try? Na 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 na. No, no, no. sounding so beautiful. Never said there wouldn't be trials. Never said I wouldn't fall. Never said that everything would go the way I wanted to go. But when my back is against the wall and I feel hope is gone, I'll just lift my head up to the sky and help me to be strong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Na, na, na. I've come too far. No one said it would be easy. Nobody. That the road would be easy. I don't believe to leave me. Oh, no, he didn't bring me out here to leave me lonely. And I can see clearly. I know that he is always with me, so I just can't give up now. Oh, said I've come too far from where I started. Oh, nobody told me. Nobody. Hey, I don't believe he's brought me this far. I can't give up now. Ooh. No, I've come too far. I've come too far. No one said it would be easy. Nobody. It's never gonna be easy. I don't believe. Are you ready to go up? I can't give up now. Woo! No. I've come too far. I've come too far. No one said it would be easy. Nobody. Woo! I don't believe. You ready to sing one last time? I can't give up. No. I'm not gonna give up. I've come too far. I've come too far. No one said it would be easy. Nobody. Oh, I don't believe. Let's sing without the music. I can't give up now. No. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe. I love you. One last song. Can I do one last song? All right. We are in the spirit. Askis, my brother, Askis. Can we have the last song, please? Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel uninspired. But when I knew I had to face another day, oh, you make me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind, and you're the key to my peace of mind. You make me feel, you make me feel. Yes! When my soul was in the lost and found, you came along to claim it. I didn't know what was wrong with me till you helped me name it. Now I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for. If I can make you happy, I don't need to do more. Sing! You make me feel. You make me feel. Come on. Oh, baby, what you done to me? You make me feel so good inside. And I just wanna be close to you, can make me feel so alive. You make me feel. 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 Me feel like a natural. You make me feel. You make me feel. You make me feel. Me feel like a natural woman. Yeah. Thank you.
Professor Mamukhe, trailblazer in mathematics education, a former vice chancellor of UCT, and a decorated scholar, including being a finalist for the inaugural Africa Education Medal. Her work transforms how language and learning intertwine, especially in multilingual South African classrooms. But Prof. Pakeng is far more than her impressive CV. She's a modern-day game changer. She literally puts shoes on her platform and boots in the field, launching digital bootcamp at UCT to empower students whose studies were interrupted. Her goal? To equip them with AI and digital skills that fast-track their entry into the workforce or into entrepreneurship. It's not just about learning, it's about earning opportunities. In true Katie style, she meshes brilliance with impact, not only opening doors, but replacing the hinges too. So get ready to be inspired, challenged, and maybe rethink what education and the future can look like. Please welcome, with both hearts and brain cells at attention, the extraordinary Professor Mamukhe Pakeng.
Bloemfontein, Dumelang. All right, it's a good day, and thank you to Nkokeli Collectives for bringing us together to come and break bread together. Let me tell you, I came here with expectations. But first, let me out myself. In less than 400 days, I'll be 60. And so, I know. So calm down. Now, the reason I'm out in that is because I just had a cataract operation, a cataract removal on my eyes. If you're older, you'll know that as you grow older, you get cataract. So I just had cataract. So my eyesight has been impaired a little bit. It will be fixed. So, which means if you've been making eye contact, smiling, and looking for the bubbly old me to jump up and down and I didn't, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I can't see you. So be patient with me if I can't see you. I see at a distance, I can't see you. I see blurred also closely. So I'm going to ask you to be a little patient with me if I don't see you until you come very close. Now, I came here with expectations. The first expectation was that there was going to be a podium. And the reason why I needed a podium is because I prepare my speech. You see, I'm an academic. And I can talk and teach for hours. So I prepare my talk so that I keep to time. So forgive me that there's no podium, so I'll be using my phone and as I do that. Otherwise, I was going to use both my hands to talk to you. But I'm grateful to be with you this morning, and thank you to the Nkokeli Collective's team for inviting us and for creating such a vibrant space. It's a vibrant space indeed. And I'm grateful to be part of this vibrant space. I hope that in the spirit of breaking bread, we all leave this place full and energized to go build ourselves, each other, our communities at large. There's so much work to do out there, and it's waiting for people who are willing to do it. Now, Ntutuko, you have invited us to break bread under the theme, Thriving with Longevity, Leadership, and Purpose. And I must say that I'm glad that you've put the word thriving before the words longevity, leadership, and purpose. Because without the word thriving, the theme would mean something very different. And so the word thriving in front of the other words, longevity, leadership, and purpose, is very important. Longevity, leadership, and purpose, without the word thriving, could easily become just abstract concepts, and I'll explain. But when you put thriving in front of them, it changes everything. So the adjective thriving is the core, the theme, in my view. And I'm also glad that it is the common denominator. So it doesn't only attach to leadership or longevity or purpose, but it's thriving, longevity, leadership, and purpose. So when I started preparing for this talk, I planned everything with an hour in mind. So the academic in me broke down the theme into 3 pillars. But I just changed it a little bit. Instead of speaking about thriving with longevity, I planned to focus on thriving longevity, rather than thriving with longevity. And I want you to move with me here. I plan to focus on thriving longevity instead of thriving with longevity. And instead of thriving with leadership, I plan to speak about thriving leadership. Not thriving with leadership, but thriving leadership. And when we get to purpose, I planned to speak about thriving with purpose because the preposition with is important in this case. But of course, my team told me yesterday that I have only 20 minutes. And so I had 2 options. Either to summarize each pillar because I created, or to fully focus on one pillar. So I went with the latter. I hope there will be a next time to expand on the conversation because it was fascinating to break down this part. Yes, you will understand why position with as we go along because I want to focus on thriving longevity. That's what I chose to focus on. But before that, what does thriving mean? I mean, it's easy to talk about thriving. Even people who are not thriving tell us about thriving. Now, let me break it down. I told you I'm an academic, So I'm gonna do it the academic way. All right. And let me tell you, academics are boring, my sister. So if you're bored, I will not be offended if you leave, okay? I will not be offended. So just walk with me here. What does thriving really mean? And what does it really mean to thrive? For me, thriving is a sense of fullness. It's about flourishing. It's about joy. It's about growth. It's about vitality. Thriving doesn't mean everything is easy. It means you thought about that so well. That these young women are thriving. Because it doesn't mean everything is okay. Now, I hope you get thriving. It's not that everything is okay. Let's now go to thriving longevity, because that's what I want to talk about. Now, in its literal sense, longevity means long life. It means adding more years, adding more time. And yes, of course, we all want a long life. We all want long careers. And we all want long whatever, and so on and so on. But to be honest with you, no one wants a long life for the sake of it. Nobody wants a long life for the sake of it. So longevity in and of itself is not good enough. Actually, a long life or career that is full of suffering will feel more like a sentence than a blessing, and nobody wants that. A career that drags on for years and years but leaves you uninspired and drained feels the same way. It's survival. Every Friday, in fact, you get relieved that you don't have to go at least for 2 days. So you don't want to be stuck in a job or a career or a life like that. And then when 30 years ends, you are relieved that, oh, finally I can go on retirement. That's not longevity. So longevity by itself is not enough. It should never be the goal in and of itself. You should never just strive for longevity in and of itself. And that's the reason why I'm talking about thriving longevity and not thriving with longevity or longevity alone. It's important to have thriving longevity. So longevity, as I said, by itself is not enough. Now, if longevity means adding years to your life, then thriving longevity means adding life to your years. That's what thriving longevity is. Longevity is adding years to your life, but thriving longevity is adding life to your years. And that's what you want to have. And by life, I mean exactly that. Vitality, growth, creativity, contribution, joy, you name it, real life. Life is motion. Life is energy and it's expansion. Anything that has life is moving, it's learning, it's producing, it's evolving, it's not stagnant. That's nature, that's life. Now, in the context of your career, longevity means you manage to stay in the game for many years. You enter, you hold on, you survive the retrenchments, you survive the office politics, and eventually you reach retirement. That's longevity. And no, it's definitely not nothing. It takes grit and patience just to succeed there. It's very hard to succeed in a job, keep coming in and out, surviving all the politics and everything. It's very hard. And in a way, it's good, but it is still not the same as thriving longevity. In the context of my career as an academic, longevity means being a full professor in the faculty for 30 years. Retire with my back bent and my head gray. That's what many professors do. They say professors for 30 years and then they retire, and then they walk like this with gray hair, and they're pointing at the many students they taught. And then you go home with 0 energy levels. You get the same living annuity and wait to die. That's what many professors do. I mean, that's how the system is designed, right? That's how the system is designed. And that's why when I started at UCT, someone said, oh, you look so beautiful. By the time you are done with your 5 years, you'll be gray. And I said, I would like to see the day I'll be gray, but very lively. And many people would have clapped for that the fact that you spent 30 years as a professor, now you're going out, your back is bent, and your head is gray, and you speak slowly. You'd be celebrated if you do that as a professor. Left, right, and center. People will call you at their graduation parties and talk about your 30 years as a professor. But that is not thriving. That's just longevity. Now, here's the thing. I want to give an example with my beautiful sister here, Connie. Connie, it's not easy to speak about yourself, so I'm going to speak about you. Connie is with us here today. She was Karabo Morocco on Generations for the longest time. We knew her in that role. We loved her in that role. And because of that, many assumed that that was her ceiling, to be honest with you, Connie. They were like, hey, Connie is the successful actor. He's the top of the pops and whatever. They celebrated her longevity. We all did. The fact that she stayed on our screens at 8 p.m. for many years. But today, she has made us aware that actually, as successful as her generation 10 was, it was longevity, not thriving. Had she stayed in that role until today and did nothing about it, we would not have had Ferguson films today. We would not have had world-class productions. But hey, here's the thing. We would have still celebrated her longevity, but it wouldn't have been thriving longevity. We would not have had productions like The Queen, The Kings of Joburg, and many others. These world-class productions, these are world-class productions, and there's no debate about that. The world recognizes it. But that doesn't mean she wasn't successful as an actor. She was top of the pops and we're celebrating her. That was longevity as an actor. But what she's done is to show us what thriving longevity does. Now, imagine if she had decided to be comfortable around longevity and stayed at the point of longevity. We would never have seen what thriving longevity really means in the entertainment industry in our country. We would never have. We would talk about her as a top actor, finish. But now we can talk about what thriving longevity looks like because she's shown us. So I'm sure you can see that the difference between longevity and thriving longevity is not like bad and good. It's more like good versus great. And I don't know if you've read the book by Jim Collins that says good is the enemy of great. And Jim Collins, as he says it, he says, we've got good governments because we don't have great government. We can't have great governments. You see, good is good. It delivers. It does what needs to be done. The good municipality will do what needs to be done. But great does better than that. So good and great are both good. And they're both worth celebrating. But we can agree that great is better than good. Rather than having good schools, we want great schools. But Jim Collins tells us that the reason why we don't have great schools is because we've got good schools. They function. The reason why we don't have great municipalities is because we've got good municipalities. They function, you open the tap, water comes out. The reason why we don't have great universities is because we got good universities. They produce graduates, we keep going, we celebrate, and so on and so forth. So no one should want to be in the same place, doing the same thing, the same way for decades. That's just good. We want great. You should not want to do that. Not in your career, not in your leadership, not in your personal life. Longevity alone is not a price. Longevity alone is good. Longevity alone is not enough. Longevity alone is not great. We want great. And if someone offers you a contract that promises you longevity, tell them politely that this longevity better be thriving. Otherwise, I'm out. Now, how do we reach longevity then? I've given you an example of Connie, but how do we reach longevity in different spaces, in our careers? And how do we turn it into thriving longevity? I want you to imagine a career as a house. Just imagine a career as a house. A house, no matter how big, it will have limited capacity. It doesn't matter how big it is. And to get in, you must unlock the door. And you need a key to do that. For many of us, that key was education, a degree, a certificate, or a qualification. And of course, Kitumete talked about the fact that she's a PhD candidate. By the way, a PhD candidate only means that your proposal has been accepted. You've got 3 more years to go. But people might not understand, why do you celebrate that your proposal has been accepted? It's because your proposal is a promise to deliver. It's a promise to yourself and to the academic community. This is what I want to do. This is why I want to do it. This is why I think it has to be done by me now. Many people end up at that phrase, PhD candidate. It's an achievement, but it's also possible to stop there. So there are stages to these things. And that's why I say a house, no matter how big it is, will have limited capacity. So for many of us, as I said, the key was education. We became PhD candidates, we got the PhD, and then some of us, because we're so good after getting the PhD, by the way, once you get a PhD with a red gown, you walk into the hall, it feels like everybody has got a PhD. If you don't feel that way, you haven't done it yet. Before you do it, a PhD feels so big. You get it. It's like you get into the hall, everybody's got it. Now we are asking, what have you published? Right. Now, when you do that, then you get honorary doctorates left by proper universities, not, So, but for others, it's not like me and Kitume, it's a PhD. For others, it's not a PhD. For others, it's a network. In some careers, you don't need a PhD, so don't stress yourself and think that everyone has got to get a PhD. No. For some careers, it is a network, it is a mentor, it is an even grit or even determination. Whatever the key was, it opened the door and let you inside the house. Now, the sad truth is that it is not enough to open the door and get into the house. Getting inside is just the first step. For longevity, you need something that will keep you in the house. I mean, Connie could have started with her husband, Ferguson Films, and then stopped there and never did anything that's award-winning, that the world recognizes. Because there's opening the door and then you go in. So, for longevity, you need something that will keep you in the house. Because remember, this house has limited space. Others are trying to get in. So if you don't add value, eventually you'll be pushed out. So maybe you go and get a master's, maybe you add a PhD, maybe you specialize. And yes, that is enough to get you inside. It is possible to stay in that house until you retire because you have what's required to be in the house. Now that is longevity, but it's still not thriving. Thriving longevity is not at all about staying in the house. It's about becoming distinct in the house. There are other production families. There are other vice chancellors. There are other professors. What makes you stand out in the midst of the limited people who are inside the house? So whatever your career is, what makes you stand out? What makes you stand out from the rest? What makes you stand out from the best? And that's the difference. That's when you get to great. Now, to reach that level, you must know yourself. Kidumethu talked about being authentic. I think the previous speaker also spoke about being authentic. And that's where many people lose the plot. The moment they get inside the house, they immediately try to fit in and blend with everyone. The moment they get into the PhD group, now I have a red gown, they try to blend in with everyone. They change their style, they change their personality, even their accent. They adapt so much that they erase themselves. No one knows they are here because they look like everyone else. They sound like everyone else, and they echoed what everyone else said. So nobody knows that Helena was there because Helena sounded like everyone. They trade their authenticity for acceptance. But actually, what is actually needed to thrive in an environment where everyone is the best is your true self. You cannot thrive until you are your true self. Because everyone is faking it, guys. Everyone is faking it. You have no reason to fake it. Not when you have everything they have needed to be in the house. Yes, wearing your all-stars like I used to do at UCT. I wear all-stars and Doc Martens. Those who know me, I wear Doc Martens. I would wear them to a council meeting as the chief academic officer of the university. And it shows, of course, I didn't go to a former Model C or good schools like you did, Kitimete. Now I went to 7 different schools, all of them rural or township, nothing better. I beat the system. The middle finger. I studied mathematics at a time when people like me were not supposed to be able to do it. Right. So I get into UCT, everybody is from Oxford, and everybody speaks with an accent. Accent township. You know, and you know, an environment like that, what said to me, when I got there, I thought, here am I, leading a university where black kids feel like it is not their space. If any one of you noticed, I cut my hair. I kept my hair short throughout my tenure at UCT. At some stage, I cut it completely during COVID. Because I wanted the child from Limpopo to be able to see that, in fact, she can get there too. She doesn't have to have a long, straight weaver or hair. Or, in fact, hair, yako Western Cape, they should know that it's okay. And because I felt like blending is not the way to go. You've got to be yourself. Once you try to fit in too much, you become indistinguishable from everyone else in the house. And remember, indistinguishable people are the easiest to replace. If you are indistinguishable, we will replace you. So, as I close this point, I have 2 slices of bread. We are sharing bread this morning. I want to share 2 slices of bread with you to take home. Number 1, the first one is that please find something that no one can ever take away from you. It might be your ability to think on your feet, your ability to solve problems, to inspire others, to bring people together, to deal with complexity. Whatever it is, identify it, develop it, nourish it, own it, and protect it like treasure. That is your golden key to thriving longevity. You can never thrive longevity if you are giving away strong points about yourself and you want to blend with everybody. I didn't do that in the Western Cape. I got to Cape Town and I was myself to the core. I said, I don't want an inauguration because students are owing school fees. They're staying at home, but our university, 20,000, 5,000, whatever. I said, let's take the budget that you prepared for my inauguration and pay for those students who are sitting at home for 3 years. Let them graduate. Listen, it was disruptive. Don't think people were happy. They said you must write to us a motivation as to why you don't want that, because that is tradition. I said, of course, I will do that. And I wrote a motivation to say, students who've been sitting at home for 3 years, who haven't graduated, and they owe the university, we're going to bail out at least 100 of them with the 2 million that you have budgeted. They will come and graduate, and I did the work, we selected them, and I said, that's the list. And then I said, okay, they said, okay, but when does the chancellor come to put the gown on you? You know what happens in an inauguration, and you sign some big book. I said, when those students graduate, I will give the speech, the Chancellor Gracia Machel must come and put the coat on me, you bring the book, I will sign it, and that's what happened. But of course, this is disruptive. It's got costs. And then they said, but what do we do with donors who we normally invite to the inauguration? I said, we can only invite a few because these students must come with their families. We'll invite a few. The rest of them, we'll ask them to watch it online. And they said, but how? I said to them, any donor who's worth their salt must be impressed that I'm rejecting a party. And not only that, I had already announced when I started my VC in July 2018, from month number 1 as VC, I donated 20% of my salary to fund scholarships for black women, postgraduate students at UCT. But this disruptive, as nice as it is, don't think people are happy. The establishment doesn't like it. Because they catch you with the spoils. This is the reason why corruption is rife. It's because the spoils catch people. Okay, so I have no attachment to spoils. I canceled flying business class on university money. I said, I don't want a driver, I don't want a bodyguard, I don't want security at my gate, and I don't want a cook in my house. I will cook myself. Otherwise, my children will cook. And that's what happened. What was I doing? Saving the university money. But that's disruptive. But listen, that's what's unique about me. That I'm not attached to spoils. I was very comfortable. So find what's unique about you. When we go to conferences elsewhere, I remember we went to conference meeting in Rwanda with other vice chancellors. We go into the plane and they all stop at business and I go to Lala class. And I had no problem because I go to Lala class, but actually everybody wants to talk to me, not to them. Up to today. So don't be attached to sport. Recognize what is it that makes you unique. I know that I'm not attached to spoils. I know that I'm fabulous. I don't need an inauguration to tell me I'm fabulous. I don't need an inauguration to tell me I'm fabulous, because that's what inaugurations do. The speech after speech, they tell you how amazing you are. Well, I know that already. Let's do something better. Okay, the second slice of bread that I want you to take home. Be your authentic self. Again, the world is already faking everything. You know, people have a picture in their mind of what a vice chancellor should look like, how they should dress up like, and they want you to walk like them. They want me to talk like them. They wanted me to dress up like them. Don't join that queue. I refused to join that queue. Because the queue, being vice chancellor, didn't make me. I got to Cape Town with a full, fabulous CV and a great sense of self. So it doesn't make me. I don't need the title. I don't need anything to make. So you don't need it too. But hey, if it's going to make you a better person, then that's yours. But I'm saying to you, be careful. Because the world is already faking everything. So rather, be yourself. I wanted to get into the office as a black African woman who understands what's being an African mother, that we don't in an African family have a party when children have nothing to eat. So I took care of the children. So bring your true self into every room. And when you picture a vice chancellor in your mind, may that vice chancellor reflect you, Kheti, and not what society has designed a vice chancellor to look like. This is the same. Whether you're a mayor, whether you're a CEO, whether you are a secretary, a PA, executive assistant, or a teacher, bring you into the job. Being CEO should never define you. Being vice chancellor never defined me. Never. It never made me better. I got there better, and I walk out, and I still do better. I drive my tractor now as a farmer, and I do it with pride. It doesn't make me anything less. In fact, isn't it amazing that it's only black people who think that it's disgusting for someone with 3 doctorates to drive a tractor in her own farm? It's disgusting, isn't it? What a shame. At the moment, when black people should be proud and say, here we are. We've got one of our own who was a professor for 30 years. Killed it, got every award under the sun, and then went on to become a farmer. Well, before that, taught irresponsible leaders a lesson, and they paid her multi-millions. And then she went on to be a farmer, and she's driving a tractor herself. You should be proud, but that's why you should own yourself, because not many people will do that. People buy a tractor, and then they hire someone to drive it. I don't. I bought it, and I said, I'm going to be the first one to drive it. It's mine, Moskiaka. That doesn't mean I don't drive a convertible AMG, whatever I do. Of course. But why can't I drive my own tractor? So be you, because that's what we need. Only when you are yourself can you serve our people and our country better. If you are absorbed with being someone else, you can't even serve people. So forget about thriving longevity if you can't be yourself, because you will not be able to thrive longevity. Thank you very much.
Yes, Queen, thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. Yes, I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to call our next speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is more than a household name. She is a living legacy. From captivating us as Karabo Morocco on Generations, to co-founding Ferguson Films and producing game-changing hits like Rockville, The Queen, and Kings of Joburg, Connie Ferguson has redefined South African television. But she's not just a star on screen, she's a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, and a mentor. Through her Connie Beauty and Lifestyle brand and the Ferguson Foundation Film School, she's creating platforms for others to rise and shine. Elegant, fierce, and authentic, she is proof that true power lies in reinvention. Please welcome to the stage the incomparable Connie Ferguson.
God is good, and all the time. Modimo mogolo, ka nako tsotlhe. Dumelang Bloemfontein. Oh wow.
I see a room filled with love, with life, lots of beautiful people. I don't know why I was picked to speak after the professor. Prof, you're my spirit animal, okay? When I grow up, okay, I want to drive a tractor on my own farm. That's what I want to do. And why shouldn't she drive her tractor? She bought it. Who has driven a tractor in this? No one. Oh, I see a lady there who's driven a tractor. Okay, now that's my next on my bucket list. Drive a tractor, okay? Prof spoke a little bit to what I do, so I think I'll take it a few steps back. Today we're supposed to be breaking bread. So when I meet with my friends, we are going to break bread. We usually say, it's time for a DMC. Does anyone know what a DMC is? I know, your children must keep you up to date. You don't know what a DMC is. Deep and meaningful conversation. So when my daughter comes into my room about it, hey, moms, we need to have a DMC. I know I need to be ready for a tough conversation to be had. So my friends and I do that. You know, we go, it's time to break bread, time for a DMC. So we're breaking bread with you ladies and a few gentlemen here today, and we're having deep and meaningful conversations. What I'm hoping is that after today, given all the speakers that were speaking here, from different backgrounds, but touching on the subjects that we're talking about, which is thriving with longevity, and now Professor says thriving longevity, thriving leadership, and thriving purpose. How do we apply that, Mama Selong Arona? I left home at a very young age. After matric, I was 19, came to Johannesburg, Odiponeng, Kitsokomagaeng, looking to do something with my future. Growing up in a small town, the careers that I can think of at the time were either you end up being teacher, which there's nothing wrong about being a teacher if that's what you're passionate about. You end up being nurse, which there's nothing wrong if that's what your passion is. But I knew that where I grew up seemed too small for me. I felt like my purpose was much bigger than that. It was out there somewhere. What it was, I did not know. So I was very passionate about performing and dramatic arts. So came to Joburg to pursue that, started with modeling. It was tough. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. You immediately stand out like a sore thumb because everybody knows you're not from around. And people are not nice to people that are not from around. So you can imagine how difficult that was for me. But I went to Joburg with a mission, and my biggest mission was, my mom had been working for more than 20 years, and when I found out, she still earned like 1,000 pula. 20 years working for a hotel. So for me, something needed to give, and I felt like as the third of 7 children, it was kind of on me to change the status quo of my family. So I had put a lot of pressure on myself to become something. What that something was, God was still trying to show me. I was trying to figure it out, and God was just leading, and I was following in faith. Fast forward, my acting career took off. Did a couple of dramas before my biggest break came, Gaga Generations. So now what that show, I know I have 20 minutes, so I'm going to try and keep it short-ish so that we are able to engage at the end. Ne? So what that did for me, Generations, number one, it was the first black soapy in South Africa that made black people view themselves differently. Because if you remember the dramas that we used to watch before, I either know the girlfriend or somebody, or know the maid or somebody, and nothing about them was aspirational. So generations came, and it showed us a completely different world. The world of advertising, where women were glamorous and the men were hot. Okay, it was still very much a male-led show, but we got to see ourselves differently. Karabo Moroka was loved. Dr. spoke to that, Prof spoke to that. I was with that show for 16 years. 16 years. I was very popular as Karabo. Karabo, only famous. Untirile famous, and I don't like fame. I really don't like fame. But Karabo made me famous. So even in the discomfort of fame, I made it useful for me. So I didn't use the fame for all the wrong reasons, go out partying and become part of the culture, because there is like a culture in the entertainment industry. I knew who I was. I stayed away from everything that I felt like didn't align with number one, my vision, number two, my morals, the way I was raised. So I just continued to stay in my lane, and as Prof said, defined myself, okay, I may be in the entertainment industry, but I do not have to follow everything that happens in the entertainment industry. I'm there for a purpose. So initially what looked like my purpose was to entertain and educate through media, which I did. But when I turned 40, I think there was a shift. I enjoyed being at Generations. They treated me well there. I earned good money. As actors, we can earn good money. It's just how we we live our lives and how we use our money, and also understanding the industry that we're in, that the money that you make as an actor, you can't spend it bohahalele because you don't have the perks of corporate. So understanding that, I think, is a sane thing to do in my industry. When you don't, then you start having expectations that will never be met until certain things change in legislature. But I turned 40 and I felt like, you know what? Yes, I love what I do, but I'm starting to feel stuck. I feel like I need a change. While I was there, I remember I approached my producer once and said, I've been acting for so long, I really love what I do, and I know I help behind the scenes from time to time. I didn't get paid for it. But I would really love to learn how to produce. Can you teach me? Can I shadow you? So all my producers were male at the time. And I remember the first thing he said to me was, but why would you want to be a producer? You're a great actress and you're doing really well, and you're one of the top actors on the show. And I said, yeah, I know that, but I just feel like it's time for me to grow. I would like to step behind. I'll always be in front of the camera because I absolutely love and enjoy it, but I would like to learn the art of producing. And when I left his office that day, I felt so discouraged. It was almost like I felt something in myself that he didn't feel, or I saw something in myself that he didn't see. And it kind of makes you question yourself to say, is this it for you? Generations were successful, so it wasn't like, but there was just that thing that, have I made enough impact where I am? Do I need to step out further to make more impact? Went home, had a discussion with my husband, and I said to him, you know what? I think it's time to leave. And he said, are you sure? Hey, dog, I'm not sure, but it might be time to leave. Because at the time, we had also started working on a few concepts for Ferguson Films and whatever, but we were not producers, and we didn't really have the confidence to say we could do it without assistance. So resigned, left. The next 6 months were tough. Because remember, black tax, support. I've had a salary for like consistently 16 years. Now suddenly there's no salary. Yes, I had saved up for maybe to pay myself a little bit for over the six months or whatever. But it's drying up very quickly. So 6 months down the line, I go, sure, we're gonna be in trouble here. So he was still at Scandal, so at least he kept us going. As God would have it, you know, a friend of mine always loves to say, trust the timing of your life. It's always about timing. I could argue that the timing was wrong to leave Generations at that time because I didn't really have a plan per se, except that I needed more time to work on my own things, on the own shows that we wanted to produce. But then 6 months later, something else came along, The Wild. We had never worked with MultiChoice before. We had never worked with Mnet, or Mzansi Magic didn't even exist at the time. So when The Wild was launched, I was approached to partake in the show. And I thought, you know what, I'll just sign up for a year, you know, while we get our affairs in order and start working and continue working on Ferguson Films. Let's see what happens. So I joined The Wild, and then they headhunted my husband also. He joined The Wild. So we were with The Wild for 2 years. But in the 2 years that we were with that show, I think that's when like our eyes were open to the possibilities of what we could do as producers. Because having worked on Generations, I don't know how much you understand about my space, but it's shot in a studio, so everything is inside a building, and then sets are built in the studio. Now, The Wild was a completely different beast. Everything was on location with different challenges, but it looked a lot more natural because a house was a house, outside was outside, nothing about it was made up. So on The Wild, I think we learned new techniques of how to produce telenovelas, and that ended up being the direction that Show and I actually wanted to take with Ferguson Films. 2 years later, the Wild ended, and Mzansi Magic was launched, and we had our first show called Rockville on Mzansi Magic. So where I'm going with this, after that there were many other shows. Prof alluded to some of them, Rockville, Igazi, I'm sure most of you remember Igazi, Unmarried, and our biggest show, The Queen. So now it seemed like finally we were where we wanted to be. You know, we were making an impact. We, the two that used to be actors working on another producer's show, were creating now. We were the employment creators. We were creating employment. We were creating our own stories, telling our own stories. And for a while, it seemed like, wow, this is very fulfilling. It felt like we were thriving. Where I'm going with this is that life is a roller coaster, right? You will get to a point in your life where you feel like everything is going according to plan. And then just as you think things are going according to plan, a curveball. Life throws you a curveball and you don't know what to do. Oftentimes when people get curveballs, they feel like they failed, like you gave up very easily. Successful for many years. 2021, COVID came, shut down a lot of productions. I think we were the only production that was able to keep a show on screen, COVID. But after that, I mean, I experienced I'll call it the worst loss of my life. And that was the loss of my partner, and my husband, and my best friend, and someone I did everything with. So now when we talk about purpose, when I left home, I felt like I had a lone purpose, right? There's something that I wanted to do for my parents. And then I met Shaw, and it was like we were so aligned in everything that we wanted to do. So now it seemed like we had a joint purpose. And I think because we were, you know, and I want to ask somebody about codependency. I think he and I were so codependent, like we operated so well as a unit, that when I lost him, I felt completely lost, like literally lost. didn't know where to start, didn't know what to do. But what we had done in the process is we had built support around us, like the people that worked for us were so supportive. Support around us that they were able to hold me up when I couldn't hold myself up. And that also falls under thriving leadership, right? Yes, you are the leader. Yes, you are the EP of the production company. But do the people that work under you, when you step aside, can somebody do what you do? Right? When you step aside, can somebody do what you do? So I was down for a while, like 3 months before I went back to work. And work was still able to continue without me there. And that's amazing. That's amazing because things could have fallen apart. But they didn't because we made sure that as we grow, our people grow with us. I mean, anybody would have left and started their own production company because they were that great at what they do. So, came back to work, got hit with another blow. Not long after coming back to work. The Queen will not be renewed. So the Queen, we had 6 seasons, and we were supposed to go on to the 7th season. The Queen will not be renewed for a 7th season, so get ready to wrap up. That's like a blow for someone who everybody is looking at to feed their families. I remember telling my crew and cast that, guys, we need to get ready to wrap up. We are not being renewed. Like, you know, when people just look at you so hopelessly and you don't know what to say to them. And all I could say to them at the time was, it's okay. It's okay. It's just another stumble on the road. We will come back, we will be fine. It's been rough. I'd like to touch on grief a little bit because these are some of the things that you have to overcome if you're going to thrive. Because setbacks can, I can't remember which speaker it was that spoke about being in a very, very, very dark place. Like setbacks can set you back, literally. Your whole body, your mental state, they can set you back. And when you're in that dark hole and you don't have a strong community of prayers around you, or prayer warriors around you, you don't have a strong community of supporting sisters and brothers around you, it's difficult to survive. So as we talk about breaking bread, when you break bread, make sure you have meaningful conversations. Make sure your connections are meaningful. After I lost my husband, there's a sister of mine, Barkisorofatso. She would come to the house and just sit with me and not talk. And just sit with me and not talk and just be there. She wouldn't ask me, Horkoni, what do you need? I remember she brought a chef. I've never had a chef. I'm an actor, I can't afford a chef. She brought a chef to cook for us every day for 2 months. Because she didn't want me, she wanted me to, I think, to focus on what I was going through and not worry about what are people going to eat, no. And she would just come there and sit with me. And I'm saying that to say, as Bato, we need each other. It's almost impossible to thrive on your own. You need that person to boost you from time to time. You need that person to tell you you're beautiful from time to time. And you know you're beautiful. I mean, Prof said it very proudly. Horene, she knows who she is. And you absolutely have to know who you are. But for a lot of us, we suffer from imposter syndrome. And if you don't have people surrounding you that reiterate to you how good you are, how great you are, how kind you are, just your good qualities, the more you hear something about yourself, you start to believe it. which is also important to shut out noise that's saying negative things about you. Because you don't want to start believing what does not build you, what does not empower you. Ne? So with that, how much time do I have? 5 minutes. Particularly 5 minutes. I'd like to leave a lot to question and answer because I think we're going to have a panel discussion if it's still happening, because that's where we really get to conversate. I'm a conversation person. I like to talk to people. I think I'd just like to leave you with one word, and that word is kindness. We are not kind enough to each other, especially as Basadi. We are not kind enough to each other. What does kindness look like? Kindness looks like seeing someone struggling with their shoelaces and you don't know why they are struggling. Instead of just passing them, are you okay? Do you need help? Maybe they have a back problem. Maybe there is something that is prohibiting them from being able to tie their shoelaces properly. A kind person shows care. Show you care. Help where you can. Smile. It costs nothing to smile. I was asked once, when I'm not here, how would I want to be remembered? And you know, everybody wants to leave a legacy, right? I mean, legacy is a big thing. We all work for something. You want to leave something behind. You want to be remembered in a certain way. But I feel like how I want to be remembered is how people felt in my presence. I feel like how you make people feel is so important. When you step into a room, are people happy to see you? Are they smiling? What is it that you do that makes you light up a room? That makes the room lighter as you step into it? I think we always need to bear this in mind. Care, kindness, love. We need to live fully. We need to live fully. We need to love wholeheartedly. And we need to laugh a lot. Be happy. Life is full of problems. We can't run away from problems. Life is full of sadness. We can't run away from sadness. Find things that anchor you, that give you hope, God, our Lord. Find a center, a space that centers you, and always go back there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Oskoni. I don't believe matsogo gape tlheng. Honestly, as Mapaseka, I do not take these moments for granted, where we share stages with amazing women like Oskoni. Thank you so much. Before we go on with our panel discussion, I would first like to call the founder of this amazing event, Atle Leboha, and then we'll go back to our panel discussion. Who engage and speak to our speakers. Yokopa Abuti Nkokeli Lindazwe to come on stage. He's the reason why we are here. Let's stand up and clap hands, my sisters. Thank you so much.
Jeez. First and foremost, molweni. Niyaphila, ni right? I know I've probably shocked half the room that was here early because I was looking a bit rusty. And then I had to come and collect myself because I was like, yay! I know, lelapila shapuamo. Give yourselves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You guys look exquisite. First and foremost, my name is Nkokeli. It's a leader in Xhosa. I am the founder of Nkokeli Creatives. This is my brainchild, Breaking Bread. And I'm here to just give a moment of thanks more than anything. I'll be quick, we don't have much time. I'd like to first acknowledge MEC, Mamuzanel. MEC is arguably, if not the first person I called after Sis Connie confirmed. I said, this is probably 4 months ago, very, very early. I called MEC, I said, MEC, 6 September, uzabukhona mos. And she laughed and she said, Nkokeli, DP, what do you mean? And I said, I'm bringing powerful women. I just need your presence. And you know what? MEC was the first to accept and honor my invite without any hesitation. She just said, I'm there. And for that, I thank you, MEC. Ukhona ke siyakubona. Enkosi. MEC Makume. MEC Makume and I's first encounter was a quarrel, a fight. His department, like he had explained during his message of support, they approached me and said, let's partner. Now you know that in partnerships, any partnership, whether it's a relationship, there's fights. You will bicker on things, you don't agree on certain things. So this one day, I'm really, really, really angry. And I call MEC. And I was humbled by the humility. You know when someone humbles you by their energy, their aura, he didn't have to say much. He just said, Ntate Nkokeli, no, ke na le wena, ke o mametse, ha re bue. And immediately, I was switched off. And to be brutally honest, he played a very, very important leading role. He epitomized what a leader is. And he managed to bring us all together. And today, I can proudly say that his team, DESTEA, is my team. I consider them my team. We're a family now. And now we fight like siblings. They are literally a very important part of what you see here. We worked together every step of the way. We held each other's hands. They were part of every decision. Yes, we fought, but we fought going forward. And I want to thank you for that, Ntate Makume, for your leadership. Thank you so much, sir. I'd like to thank each and every one of you in this room today. I'm extremely emotional. Because Oskoni spoke about curveballs, when life throws curveballs at you. And this year was not an easy year for me and my partner. And I remember telling her, and I said, I have this brainchild called Breaking Bread. And this is the concept, this and this and this and this and that. And I said, I want to have it in Bloem. And she said, why Bloem? You can have it here in Joburg. We stay in Joburg. And I said, no, I want to have it in Bloem. And then she said, okay, let's look at what it requires you. And she said to me, my wife always asks uncomfortable questions. She said, how much do you have for this thing? And I said, 0. And she said, okay. She says, then do it. And I want to say to you, I am not joking when I said I had 0 to pull this together. I had nothing but sheer determination. I said 6 September, this thing is happening. I don't know how, but it will happen. And my wife and I recently had a new daughter. And whilst it was a blessing, it was also quite stressful financially. And now I have this vision and this idea. And I'm sorry if I'm oversharing because this is very important. Because I resonate with the messages that were spoken by the speakers today about the sheer determination. And essentially, through all those circumstances, I was not deterred. I knew that on the 6th of September, this event is happening. And you can call it divine intervention. I like to call it summoning the universe through your energy. Because I knew. And I'm sorry, because I'm quite emotional. This is like a dream. This, you guys, lived in my head. I envisioned it. Thank you. So please pardon me when I'm this emotional, because it's overwhelmingly exuberance. It's not sadness. I'm really, really happy. So I want to thank each and every one of you. I'm not going to go through all the stakeholders and everything because I think in the interest of time, we would like to get into the panel discussion. But from the bottom of my heart, I'm really, really thankful.
Thank you. And you know, I like people who are able to tell us the truth about their journey. Because some people will stand here and speak about only the good things, but we all go through a lot. And we should not forget to thank him every day. It's by his grace and mercy. Because every day when you wake up, you realize, God keeps on rewriting your life over and over and over again. Thank you so much. I don't want to lie. I am truly happy and grateful to be here. So I'm going to call Prof and Oskoni, more staging, and then we can have a discussion. Because of time, I'm not going to be the one who buang too much because it's not about me. So ke tla etsa hore lona, mic o kae ke matla tsamaisang di mic? Batla bona hore di mic di qala kae pele. Who will be on the floor to help me? Ke tsele di mic. So if you have a question or there's something that you would like to ask Prof kapa Oskoni, please raise your hand. Podcasting. So for me, I think I will start the conversation by not asking a question. I will start the conversation by just saying that I do not take this moment for granted. For someone who's from here, Oskoni, I'm in the same industry as you, and I grew up watching you. And you gave us so much hope. I remember when my dad left, TV. So we didn't have a TV at home. Yeah, so we used to watch. In community of property, Bazalwan. So we didn't have a TV at home, and we used to watch TV, go to cousining, and every time I go cousining, I would watch backstage, and then Refelelezaga generation. And I used to see myself inside the TV. So it's people like you who really inspired us to push and also to be comfortable to speak our own language. Because nasi Bloemfontein ke sibua, ya setsenya le mo scripting, like it or not. And Prof, I just love how you stand up for yourself on social media. Social media has helped us to feel like we know each other even though we don't. But what you do, being able to stand up for yourself and stand up for the things that you believe in, and at the same time, teach us. I am truly, truly grateful for this amazing moment. And I know you said you can't see, but I hope you can see me now. Okay, cool. Let's start with the questions just to save time. I was another question, Mona, where's the mic? And there's a question here. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Let me first start by sharing how grateful I am to be in the midst of great women like all the women who spoke, but Professor Haholo and Auskoni. I had my tissue ready, and thank you for not making us go back there. Thank you so much. We have a tendency of sitting in the shadow of a grief for the longest time, and by the time we wake up, things are falling apart, and it's not on our side to start picking up. My question is actually to the Prof. Prof, you said something very, very profound about being you and not being, attending all these kind of schools that are seen to be, you're better off when you're coming from those schools. I'm one of those people. But what I want you to speak to us, those who are pursuing this academic world, how do you, okay, let me rephrase that. Is it necessarily important for you to have a good command of English or to be the best English speaker for you to be able to have an excellent academic writing or being accepted in your writing without up and downs of being told that, no, this is not how we write academically. So I just want to, I'm working a particular journey that will make it very important for you to help me with it. Thank you.
Okay, Prof. Ore, I must take a few questions. She will just write on her notepad and then to save time. Okay.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity and thank you for a fantastic event. I actually have two questions, one for Prof. Pake. Do you want me to start? Oh. Yes, so I have a question for Prof. Pakeng and I also have one for Auskoni. So Prof, you are a truly inspirational woman and we know you as a passionate and relentless woman who's not afraid to go out there and fulfill her dreams, but we also know that you are a mother. So I am also a midwife and an entrepreneur who has done exceptionally well in her career, and I've also, been able to transform some of the things in Free State here. I am running an NPO that has quite literally shifted how cervical cancer has been treated in the Free State. But now I also became a mother, and I just want to find out from you, how has it been throughout your career navigating the challenges of being an academic and a working mom, as well as being a mother at home. And also now that your children are older, if there's anything that you feel like you can actually go back, if you could, and change. And then for Auskoni, you mentioned something about imposter syndrome. I just wanted to know if you can kindly share an instance where you had to fight through imposter syndrome to actually achieve something great and how exactly you went about doing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? The last one, and then we'll go again. Motwadi mic on the floor, okay? Haki bonilina from here. Phoebe.
Should I hold on? Okay, all right. Greetings again. I would like to first thank the two departments that collaborated in one house. I'm going to try to be very brief. I'm standing here as a young woman with disability and an activist. I would like the speakers to advise as to how do we assist other persons with disability to come out of the shells so that they can embrace what they have, because we are having this stigmatization that we are seen as a label before you see the ability in us. And as much as I'm standing here, as I say that I'm an activist, it is very hard, it's not difficult to gather everybody and, embrace what we have, because remember, we have different disabilities. Some of them are invisible, unless if one declares to be one. I know I'm one of those, I'm disabled, you understand? And I'm like, yeah, so can I just get a word of advice to say, how do we assist these people to embrace? And what opportunities are out there for them? And like, what in the spaces that you both are, what opportunities do you have to say, doors are open for you, and come, you are welcomed. I can be long, but for the interest of time. Thank you. Oh, by the way, let's type you over here. Aros Kami, number 1 fan. Next year, she's bringing to Bloemfontein.
All right, let me start with the command of English and being in academia. One of the things about being being academic is that you're not an academic simply because you've got a PhD. You also have to engage with the academic community. And one of the things that I do when I teach academic teaching English is teaching how do you engage academically. That's much more than just English. So when if you were my student or my mentee, I would say to you, bring me your writing. Because when I review papers that are sent for journals, I can figure out someone who's struggling to write academically and someone who's struggling with English as a language. So those two things are very different. Of course, you need fluency in a language that you are publishing in. So if you are struggling to write academically, it's better to admit that your problem is academic writing than to put it down to English, because they are not the same, right? So if you're struggling with English, the language, then you make mistakes or past participle and those things. But when you're struggling with academic writing, first of all, is a mindset that you're getting into a conversation with people who came before you. So you cannot write as if you are the first person who is writing about that issue. If you do that, you show us your naivety, your stupidity, and the fact that you have no idea what you're doing. And so we're gonna reject your paper, we're gonna tear you apart because you're disrespecting the conversations that took place before. And sometimes, of course, it's because the supervisor or whoever is reading your writing is struggling to give you the feedback that you need, right? And maybe it looks like they're correcting your English, but I think it's better to self-critique and say, what is it that I'm really struggling with? Is it because I'm struggling to put my thoughts down in English, or I'm struggling, in fact, to locate my thoughts in English in a particular topic? Did you see what I'm saying? So English is as important as Setswana. But if you want to have influence and change and shape the discourse in your discipline worldwide, unfortunately, you have to write in English, because you want your work to impact someone who's sitting in Brazil, in the UK, in the US, in Venezuela, everywhere else in the world, right? If you only, and of course, by the way, you can insist on writing in Setswana, but it will not go that far. There are journals that will allow it, but it will not go that far. You want it to go far, you do that. I'm learning French at the moment. I've been learning, it's my day number 62 of learning French today. And I try every day with people that I work with who speak French, I speak French, right? But I do understand that I'm not yet at a stage where I can make an argument in French. But I want to be able to get into a space where I can get into a boardroom and be able to address business people from Paris, the Congo, Angola, in French, and they buy my argument or my business. Can you see what I'm saying? At the moment, I can't, even though I can have a small conversation and even be able to get to the point where I say to them, well, I speak a little bit French, that fluent. So I think it's important to make the difference. Our young black people like dismissing English altogether and say, oh, the language of the colonizer, I understand, it's the language of the colonizer. And unfortunately, the colonizer has worked it so well that in fact they dominate not only us, but the rest of the world. Even in Canada, where the French are very strong, they still have to do a lot of things in English. Now, we want to win them, you go to the language. Otherwise, you're not going to win the battle or the war. You don't fight the small battles. Look at the war. You want to win the argument. You want to have power. You want to access things that you've got to get better at English. But it's not the be all and end all. Nakibua Setswana ndiathetha betuna. Dafika Cape Town. Dikhuluma isiZulu. Bandihleka, but isiZulu sami isiXhosa sami is correct. I learned until I was able to sit in a room with union members and convince them in isiXhosa ukuthi i-offer yami right. Yabo? So everywhere, unfortunately, language is a way in which we share what we think. And if you're not that good in language as an academic, in putting arguments forward, even in the mathematics department, you will not get ahead, unfortunately. You'll get a PhD, but you'll stop here. You'll be that red-gowned person who remains there with the red gown. Do you want to take the next? And then
Okay. So my question was on imposter syndrome. So here's the thing, and I'm going to speak from my perspective, right? Someone else might feel different. For me, because I'm naturally a very anxious person, I was a very anxious child. Like I said, I was very shy growing up. So it takes a lot of courage for me and a lot of training now to be standing in front of people and talking. So there's always that, why am I here? Do I belong here? So sometimes that just never goes away. You find ways to cope with it. You find ways to work around it. You learn slowly to build your confidence. I think the main thing is knowing that you are worthy. Sometimes the feeling doesn't go away, but you have to remind yourself that you are worthy, that you have to remind yourself that you belong in those rooms that you feel small in sometimes. You have to learn to make yourself heard. So I think that the people that are shy or reserved, the problem that we have sometimes is when you try to put a point across and you're in a room full of people who are talking, and some of them are talking at you, sometimes you tend to hold back. Because now it's like when you say something, nobody's going to hear you anyway. So you resign before you even try. So I think the thing with imposter syndrome is never stop moving forward, never stop trying. Always know that once you open your mouth, what you say is important. Someone needs to hear it. So never let it hold you back.
Thanks, Auskoni. The other question is a question about parenting, being a mother, and how it has been navigating that with being a professional woman. I don't always talk about my children. I have 5 children, but I only gave birth to 1. I adopted 4. I've got 4 boys and 1 girl. Let me break it down. My youngest is 25, and he's an accountant who's also doing financial law. I've got my oldest who's a scientist and a musician, a scientist working at the Lancet, adopted. My biological child is the second one, and he's doing his PhD in economics. But at the same time, he's employed. as an AI specialist at a big multinational tech company. My third one is a girl, that's the only girl, and she's doing a PhD time and doing, tutoring here and there, but she's doing a PhD in environmental sciences. My third one is in Europe, and he's doing a master's in civil engineering. My young one, my baby, young one is doing, she's doing too many things. That's the accountant who's doing a finance law degree in Mauritius. And I have to say that because I actually think we don't talk a lot about mothering, and the reason I never talk about my children is because this world is cruel. I protect my children. And so I tell you about them. I hardly ever put them on social media. Once in a while. One of them is married, by the way, my biological son is married. The other one is still in the process of getting married. It's hard getting married to a Zulu girl. But nevertheless. So it's because it's hard, if you talk about your children, then your detractors will go for them. But one of the things that I'm proud about in my whole life, people think it's my career. It's actually being a successful mother because that's really, really hard. Parenting is hard. And I say parenting is hard. I've never had a child who's made anybody pregnant or fell pregnant or whatever, I don't have grandchildren yet, I will have. None of them is on Nyaupe, ever been on drug. They don't drink, they don't smoke, they do their mischief like me, they do it sober. They love God, we all go to church, and even in that context, I can tell you that parenting is hard. So whatever I say from here about how I parented, I want you to know that it's not the gospel. It's not the be-all and end-all, because you can do your best, and children can still be out of the way. But that doesn't mean you don't. So if I had a magic wand, if I could go back and do parenting again, this is what I would do differently. I would worry less about the fact that my child didn't get all the distinctions that they need to get, that I felt they needed to get. I would worry less about when we go to prize giving at school, my child wasn't called as one of the ones getting the prize. I would worry less about that, because having seen all of them, every child will have a challenge at some stage in their lives. And the issue is, what will make them win that challenge is how you parent them. And that's what's more important. What do you embed in them? Remind them that they are capable, they are strong, and they are gifted. It doesn't matter what the school says. You have to tell your children that they are gifted, they are strong, so that when they are challenged to try tequila and they are 13, they know that they are strong enough to say no. And even if people laugh, it doesn't mean they are less than. My children know that you're strong, you're gifted. You may not get all these distinctions that everyone gets, but you, the world needs you. The world is in a worse place if you don't stop being yourself. So if you stop being yourself. So I would say that the thing that I would say you need to endow your children with as a parent. Now, what does that do with me being a professional? It's because as a professional, I've had to depend on other people to help me parent my children. When I was doing my master's and PhD, I was working at Wits. I became a professor before I turned 40 at Wits University. And that meant, whilst I was doing my master's and PhD, I would baby my biological son, wait until he sleeps before I then have to wake up, take him to school, and then go to work. So you work until 12 o'clock, you sleep for 3 hours, 6 o'clock I'm up, getting him ready for school. So I've done all of that because none of my postgrad was full-time. All of my postgraduate studies, I did them at Wits, and they were all part-time. People think we had it easy. No! And I was a mother already. So there's sacrifices like those that I made. But I never, my children will tell you, when we go to town, Ritzias Kaftin Bazalwan. Rona Ritzias Kaftin, Aritzene McDonald's or Nando's, what. Fast foods is a no. Why? I'm building discipline here. Everybody, the boys, they wash the dishes. Now as they grow up, The young one is very lazy. He will hire a sweep south to come and do his part of the cleaning because what's wafaker. And then he will say, Ma, I carry you want this place clean. You don't care whether you see me on the floor. So I'll get it clean, don't worry. I say, no, that's fine. If you're resourceful, that's your problem. I just want the place clean. You must know that it's... So there are things that I keep in line that must be done. Discipline, I'm tough on it. Education, I'm tough on it. But knowing who you are, I'm tough on it. And I see many black parents think that that's not important. That, I don't want to get into critique of things that I find problematic. But parents who sit and drink with a 14-year-old wine, I have a problem. And of course, I said to my children one day, I keep wine in the house and alcohol that I get, never had. And I said, it's because I want to see you are drinking. My son said, you think if we're drinking, we're going to drink it, your one here in the house. We're going to drink it outside. And then I said, but at least you know I funekila. At least you know what's the line. So you've got to have the values that you value, that you keep, you hold high in your home. Have to be, and your children need to know what are the marching orders. Many children don't know what the marching orders are. But my children know what the marching orders are. They've always known that, and they always know that they can come to me, and they always know that I'll repeat the marching orders.
I don't remember that last question.
Time is not on our side. I'll ask Oskoni to wrap up with
that last question.
Yeah, with the last question.
All right, so the question was living with disability and how to encourage and support others who are living with disability. How do I assist people to embrace their disabilities? Okay, that's a good question, but I think just by being brave enough to stand here and to say that you advocate for disability, you encourage them to do the same. I think disability is not being able. Doesn't mean there aren't other things you can do. There are things you can do. Maybe you just challenged on certain things. Maybe you just challenged. What's okay? I know you joked about it. Do you have a disability? Okay. Oh, she can take it. Do you want to take it?
I can take it, yeah. Disability just only means you are differently abled. It doesn't mean you don't have an ability, and that's what Oskoni is trying to say. You have an ability. So what we need to do is to say to you that foreground your ability. I liked the fact that you were saying, it's not a disability. There are things that people living with disabilities that they can do, that we can't do because we are taken to be the mainstream. But people with disability, you can imagine someone living with blindness and they can still wake up and do everything that we do. They do more than we do. And I think if you go to a job interview or anywhere you're applying for funding, tell them, I've lived with blindness for 25 years and I've managed to do this, that all the people who can see can do. And I mean, it just means you are stronger than all of us.
And being in a wheelchair, for example, you can work on a computer. You are asking about what people can do in our industries. So you don't just have to act in my industry. There are many other departments that you can work in. We have a lot of editors who are physically challenged, but they are creatives. They are great at what you do. So I think you just need to identify that which you are great at and focus on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, and please don't leave. There's still entertainment and things to do. I'd like to also acknowledge Ostembi Siete. She's in the building. Just wave, my sister. Yeah! It's about time, yes! Thank you, Ostembi. Thank you. Thank you so, so much, ladies, for the love, for the respect, and for this room. This room was just full of love, laughter, and we learned so much. Thank you so, so much. Ke a leboga. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Oskoni.